Yeah, he went
I'm sure
to
he
a developmental deal.
But
Which is surprising me because he's got a body. I suppose he's just got no charisma, has he, at all?
Yeah,
Like,
I think if you worked with him, I reckon you could do something.
Cold
It's
cock.
not going to be like the biggest thing, but I reckon like in the lower card, you could do something with him.
yeah, you can't get cold cock over.
I don't mind. I don't.
Surely he should have been
cold cock.
Surely as well. No one likes cold cock. And surely
It's got to be warm.
He should have
cold
been.
cock is not good cock.
He should have been,
Jesus.
warm Willie, and he should have had chilly Willie. Should have been a midget. Because a cold penis is really how shrivels up. So he should have had a midget one called Chilly Willie. Then warm Willie. It would have been him. And he could have had the Willies. Hello and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Call Creative and as ever I am joined to my left, making threats about cutting people's faces off, making them eat them. It's Jack Chance.
Hello.
And to my right, what shall I call you, Sam?
The shitting it out.
It's Sam Chance.
Hello.
And I am your host, Ben Chance. And that can only mean, in an extreme way, that we are back in the world of Extreme Championship Wrestling. I'll save you, Sam. I will ask Jack first. Have you enjoyed, at the very least, being back in the world of Extreme?
Well, we could have done better pay-per-views, but that's not our
Not what we do.
No.
But yeah, I don't mind watching ECW, but I'll give my thoughts on this version of ECW.
And Sam,
on.
was it a November to remember?
I think it will be. After having a really busy week, to finish off with doing this,
It's not the easiest of watches. Or maybe it is, but maybe that's the problem. But yes, we are heading back to November the 5th. So as of time of recording, peeling back the veil slightly, it is actually 22 years ago tonight. This very night.
We're going to have this podcast.
And do you know where it emanated from? Did anyone make note of the location it emanated from?
No, I don't know, but
Well,
I'll know when you tell me.
it's not a place we would like. It's Villa Park in Illinois.
Yeah, Villa Park.
Villa Park, Illinois. Chicago.
When I saw it, I should have remembered it, but I forgot it.
Who know everybody's in the crowd? Oh, never mind.
There was no Danny Ings there. He didn't appear.
There's some cabbages in the
There was some cabbages in the
Who was the Villa
ground. And in the ring.
in the 2000s?
Probably John Gregory. I would imagine.
Or what's his name? Is
Brian
he the boring bloke?
Brian Little.
No, was
Graham
it
Taylor.
Graham
Leary or something?
Oh, David O'Leary.
Yeah,
no, he was.
Leeds.
I'll get to Leeds in a second. Because the US number one was. Sorry, the UK number one. We always start with the UK. Top billing. 2000, when I have a guess, it was a big band who had quite a lot of number ones in the 2000s.
Where's it? Westlife.
It was
Yeah,
Westlife with My Love. Can't think of that one.
Do we listen?
My love.
That's Lionel Richie.
There's only
But he will
Probably better.
Yes, he will be playing now, much to the
I don't know
chagrin.
that one.
Yeah, I can't think of My Love.
No, I know me Westlife. Big Westlife man.
Should we shout Mom and Dad?
Yeah, Mum and Dad. And the US, they went with, now this is a song both of you will know and I'm
Love.
sure like. Who was the big band in 2000?
Crash Test Dummies.
No,
Limp Bizkit.
linked to wrestling.
Limp Bizkit.
Well,
They did a lot of My Sacrifice.
Now, Creed.
Creed with arms wide open.
What?
US number
We're
one.
all right over.
What a time to be alive.
Best video there's ever been as well.
Right, I think we should swap with the US. We'll agree, yo, with our website.
Yeah, we take the mick out the Americans for being a bit dense, and yet our musical choice wasn't quite Creed, was it really?
No.
The box office topped both sides of the Atlantic by Charlie's Angels.
Never seen it.
Nope.
I've heard of it.
And as I was going to ask you the latest episode of Power Rangers, which is becoming a thing, it was the Light Force episodes. I'm assuming you didn't watch
Light Force.
Power Rangers Light Force, is it? Or Speed
Time
Force?
Force.
Or Time Force, yeah.
Something like that.
So-
I used to watch the
That was
Time
the
Force.
Dark
That's a,
Force age,
Time
so-
Force is the good series.
Ah,
but I
okay.
think I thought that was later. I thought it was like 2001 too.
Well, that was well, that might have been when it was shown
Lightspeed
over here.
Rescue.
Possibly.
But
Could be Lightspeed
you
Rescue.
did,
actually.
you did watch Ed, Ed and Eddie, and the latest episode of Ed, Ed and Eddie was High Heeled Ed, whatever that means. I think they go undercover.
They used to like 2 episodes.
Yeah, they go undercover, and he dresses as a woman. There you go, bloody Ed. The WWF magazine, when I hazard a guess, who was the
Rock.
star?
Hardys.
Triple H. It was holding his favourite sledgehammer.
Oh,
And,
excuse me.
WCW desperate for buys of this magazine
Sing.
from the men. What do you think they went with?
Major
Tits.
Major Guns. She got her Major Guns out.
Well, there's a few boys in this show and all.
Well, they were basically out on the front cover. Basically went, this is a tit mag. So
And inside La Parker.
WCW with the big tits.
All them people who bought that looking for a wank would have been confused when they opened it and hacksaw Jim Duggan was in the
how am I supposed to get off the Queewee? What's going on? And
And some people might.
contrasting form for our teams as West Bromwich Albion played Burnley at home.
No.
And were rescued with a late point by Jason Roberts.
Rescue.
Yeah.
Finished in the playoffs.
We did. That was my first season as a season ticket holder, and I have not been happy since. And
Hang on, you got promoted the year after.
yes, we did.
Well,
Yeah.
you did get relegated and promoted.
Well, that's the problem. There's a lot of relegation.
Fair enough.
Hopefully not this season. And
Well,
Liverpool,
so I
they
take it we played Leeds.
played Leeds.
Did
It
we
was
lose?
one of those that's probably on Sky Sports Gold all the time.
Oh, is that the one where
It
Leeds won in the last minute?
Viduka scored 4 goals and
Yeah.
Leeds won 4-3 in the last minute there. Yeah,
Viduka.
yeah,
He's in Aussie, eh?
it was at Ellen Road, and I think that was the season where Liverpool won every trophy apart from the.
We won the FA Cup, the League Cup, the UEFA Cup.
We're going to Villa Park though. And,
How did Villa get on?
yeah, there's no Jack Grealish in sight, and yes, this is the 5th ever November to Remember on pay-per-view. Apparently,
Was this their biggest
95
show?
must have been a pay-per-view.
It was one of the earliest
Yeah.
monikers they had that just stuck because they did one in '93 then.
Mm.
So.
I would say that this probably, if you ask people to name an ECW branded pay-per-view, they'd probably all start
Yeah.
with November to Remember.
With this and
Whether they
this.
treated
Yeah.
it as the,
was Annika
Annika
Rules
Rules.
the first ever one?
I think
Barely
Annika
legal.
Rules was the
Barely
one
legal.
that they treated because
That's the
they
main one.
named the game after it, didn't they? So I would
Yeah.
imagine that was the one they treated as their WrestleMania. It wasn't
Yeah.
this. It definitely wasn't this. We open up in true ECW. So I should just set the scene. ECW 2 weeks before were kicked off the network, so they no longer have.
Well, it's what I wanted. Well, Heyman wanted it,
at the end he wanted. I don't think he really wanted it to, but he knew they
So
didn't give a shit.
WWF must have just got on TNN.
Yeah. Well, I think they were on together for a very brief time. Yeah, I think WWE and ECW were on at the same time for maybe 2 or 3
Well,
weeks.
same channel, but one was probably
Well, yeah.
like 2 o'clock in the
Oh,
morning.
yeah. One of them had Chili Willy. I mean, geez.
Oh, you
Put him on 3
disrespect
o'clock in the
goddamn Tilly
morning.
Willy.
But yeah, it's a dark time for ECW, and they've lost quite a lot of stars. I think most recently, who would have gone recently?
RVD just went for a bit because he
Oh,
wanted
It was
to
yeah.
own money, yeah. RVD went.
Landstorm's gone.
Landstorm, I think that was the
He's
person who
just
was the
recently
most
gone.
recent.
Mike Awesome had gone earlier in the year.
So it's a
And
it's a
Big
perilous time, but they have put the title on the man who opens the show, Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn.
He's going to walk through everyone in the locker room, and that's just fine. That's what he just keeps saying.
Just fine.
That's just fine.
When I won this belt at Anarchy Rules, I made a promise to be a fighting champion. And god damn it, that's what I've done. And tonight, this belt's not just in jeopardy, it's in double jeopardy. And just incredible, if I have to walk through you, that's just fine. Because I did it at Anarchy Rules, and I'll do it again. Steve Corino, Sandman, if I have to walk through you two, that's just fine. Because if I have to, I'll walk through every single person in this locker room tonight, in one night, all at the same time, whatever it takes, because I am the ECW Heavyweight Champion of the world.
He's going to hold onto the ECW title. It's pretty crap, but it does end with champion of the good, yeah.
That was his gimmick, though.
Thank God he could do that, because Jesus Christ, he can't talk.
No, he's not.
No.
He's not.
He's good.
He's not the
He's
best.
not a promo.
He
though.
can't talk.
He
He's
can't
not
talk.
wrestler. He's not
Good
got a
wrestler.
voice.
Now,
It's very high.
why is just incredible in the main event? I mean,
It's because who have you got left?
I can't believe
I
that.
thought this.
He's a mechanic in the ring, but he's awful, isn't he?
He is. He's a. I was thinking this watching it. When you've got nobody else, you would put him at upper mid card at best.
if it was just him, he still wouldn't be main
when
event.
all your big stars are at your main event,
He's
he's not one that. He's one that you maybe put from lower mid card to upper mid card.
Yeah, I get
He's
that.
not main event.
He's definitely not, and the only reason he wants the belt is so he can bang Francine, apparently. Well, that's a reason, I suppose. Sandman, he basically puts a cigarette out on his hand and says he's politically incorrect and he's won the title for the fourth time.
Are you pissed?
That's probably the best of the bunch, in fairness to him.
Yeah, I thought that.
Well, he's probably the biggest
character.
star they've got, aren't they?
And he is,
Other
and
than-
he's definitely in the best shape he's ever been
He's wild.
It ain't much.
Talk
but-
about him.
Schley again.
Steve, let's just do the promo.
Jack, I hate women.
Steve, stay focused. Let's just do the promo.
All right, you know your part?
My part?
Yeah.
My part's this.
I spot,
That's my part.
and you do it so well. All right, ready? In 3, 2, 1. Tonight, Steve Corino's gonna be the ECW.
We can start. Look what I wore. It took me a little longer than usual, but I'm sorry. It's so pretty, don't I? It's just for you, because I'm going to be really special tonight when you win the belt. So I look pretty in the pictures.
Remember that, Dawn. It's when I win the belt.
Yeah.
Because Sandman, I'm gonna go through you, and the winner of Justin versus Jerry better be ready, because I'm determined to become the ECW World Heavyweight Champion and put my name in the history books of all the great champions that there's ever been. Tonight, I will not only be the king of old school, I will be the king of the new era, and I'm going to be the leader of the extreme. Tonight is Steve Corino's night to become the ECW World Heavyweight Champion.
That was perfect. Thank you, Steve.
Is that all right with you, Dawn?
It was perfect. It was very, very good. And you know what? And tonight, after you win everything, it's going to be wonderful. What the fuck?
Don't worry about him. What about me and you hooking up?
Yeah, right.
And I tell you a friend of star here, because Jack Victory. Wow.
Yeah, but
Freddie Starr.
wrestling for ages, though.
Ah, fucking love him.
He does look like Freddie Starr and everything.
He just says all he's got to do is stand behind him and do the V signs. And, I love it. And Steve Corino basically is waiting. He's annoyed because Dawn Marie isn't there at the start of the promo. Just sort of does a bog standard promo, but he's interrupted by Dawn Marie and he gets annoyed. I think they're just sort of trying to get over that Carino's getting a bit fed up of being a heel, basically,
Yeah.
I think.
I think because people like him, it's just like, we're going to turn you anyway.
He's got a lived-in head, though, eh, old Carino? Jesus Christ.
I lived in it.
I do love Jack Victory, though. That was a highlight of the
Have you
opener.
found a boy?
May have found a boy.
Victory's a boy.
Well, I mean,
Christ.
he's the
I mean, he would
archetypal
be a boy,
yeah.
obviously. Look at him, but Jesus.
In the ring, we start as most ECW pay-per-views do, with Joey Styles and his new partner in crime, Joel Gertner, who is over with the crowd.
Not with me.
Not with Sam, no.
obviously.
Do you remember the Genius used to do poems in the ring?
Yeah.
Joel Gertner does, but most of his contain cum jokes.
Dirty sex man.
Yeah.
Sex pest.
There is a certain level of charm. He's a very good talker.
He can talk. He should be a manager, but maybe tone it down for then again. He's easy.
Oh, he does.
No, he's in the perfect spot there. In the perfect company for him.
Yeah.
He's all, adult.
Yeah.
So he can just come out, say some soft stuff, and get the crowd hot and then don't do anything else. Does he cool?
Well, he's interrupted by Heat Magnet himself, Simon Diamond, who comes out. He looks like he's in the Truth Commission, first of all. I don't quite understand that get-up. But he complains that Joey and Joel aren't giving him enough credit for helping end the career of Tommy Dreamer. More on that in 2 minutes. Joel tries to reason with Simon, but ends up basically shitting on him, calling him...
I like everything you do straight down to your ring name. Which, unfortunately, I can't remember right now since you're just some undercard jamoke.
I love this word. A jamoke.
You jamoke.
What a jamoke.
What's a jamoke?
I think it's like a jabroni and a joke together.
Jamoke.
I think. But yeah,
that Rock would have got over to calling people that instead.
Rock would have definitely got over
Probably,
someone a jamoke. Yeah, it's a lovely word. And it basically leads to the return of the man whose career he just ended, Tommy Dreamer. Yeah, he's back.
In his favourite.
Now, am I right in saying they don't really dub Man in a Box when he comes out of Tommy?
Well,
it is dubbed.
It is dubbed.
Just near enough the same.
Yeah.
because
Like
I know
one chord's
his
different,
Fed theme was similar to it later on,
Hmm.
where he's trying to be Man in the Box, but it's
And
not.
I know he's probably running most of the show backstage because,
Heyman's
rocking
get up.
in the corner. But why is he not on the card? Like, I mean,
Well,
he's Tommy Dreamer.
Well, him and Sandman and your two biggest ones.
Especially if if you're going to keep him off the card because you're selling the Simon Diamond thing, fine. But then don't
have him run out.
come out.
Yeah,
Like,
no, come out.
it's just, that to me is annoying. But yeah, this is basically a trope of
It's
ECW, isn't it?
ECW.
Because it leads to our unsanctioned first match. Basically, C.W. Anderson and Johnny Swinger, who we were also told isn't there tonight, come out to beat up Dreamer. That brings out Christian York and Joey Matthews, who have been having an issue with Simon Diamond and Swinger. And it leads to a conjoined angle leading into our opening match. Yeah, it's entertaining, if nothing else. The silence on the commentary, which is a bit annoying, and there's a fans' chant of Hardys at York and Matthews. Are they part of the same training group or something?
I don't know. Well, Joey Matthews.
That's
Joey
Mercury, yeah, I can see that. I don't know Christian York.
Christian York appeared in TNA later.
Yeah, later.
Come back even later on in the gut check.
Well, it's a fast-paced opening with the young lad shining on the heels. Start with some nice tandem offense and stereo dives. Their stuff looks crisp at the very least. Eventually, Swinger attacks Matthews from the apron, and that leads to the heat segment as Matthews is sent into the guardrail behind the ref's back. Diamond hit 3 suplexes, with Matthews selling it all well and bumping around nicely. Swinger and Matthews have very similar gear, which doesn't quite help. I think both of them almost are wearing exactly the same tights.
One of them's still wrestling now, eh?
Who is?
Johnny Swinger, eh?
Swinger's in Impact.
He's in Impact.
Yeah.
He's one of Jack's boys because
Yeah,
of
I
his
do
gimmick.
like.
He's an ugly git, though, eh? He ain't a very good looking
Oh yeah,
fella.
yeah.
Well, he's changed now. He's got a big beard, but he's like stuck in the 80s. He comes out on like Jack showed me this. On the little ring cart that WF used to have at Mania. He's got his own little Zicky Dice pushes in them.
Well, he's already won with it. That's
There you go.
amazing.
Jack will have to show you later. He showed me.
Cyrus finally takes over and he shits on Gertner. The crowd get behind Matthews whilst he tries to make the hot tag, and eventually he gets it, which leads to York running wild on the heels. There's a nice springboard back elbow and a face plant atomic drop. Simon, mate, I've created a name for you.
Simon
Diamond and Swinger hit a double team inverted DDT for a 2. C.W. Anderson is in to hit what is a really nice spine buster. He's definitely been watching a lot of Arn Anderson, one would assume. And the problem solver double team finisher wins the match for our heels. Opener Jack.
Okay, not great, not bad. Don't know whether they should be needing CW to help them beat York and Matthews. Seeing as Simon Diamond is a stronger character on the card and in the company at the moment. But it's the right winners. Should heels win the first match? I don't know. But it's the right winners for this match. But it was an okay tag opener, I would say. I wasn't offended.
No, I thought it was probably too short. I would have liked to have seen them put Simon Diamond over more, purely because he's obviously, if he's hot enough to open the show and be in
he's the one you could put the TV title on. And
I mean, I don't think he's a good enough, strong enough character to be at the world.
No,
level,
but he's good mid card. The one you can.
And I agree with Jack.
TV
I mean,
and stuff,
if he can't, there is no more enhancement talent in this on this roster than Christian York and Matthews. They're good at what they do. I can understand why.
I don't know. There's a couple later on. It's
one Easy and the other De Niro. But yeah, I mean,
Easy wore too bad, right?
I didn't hate it. I thought it was probably just too short. Everyone worked pretty hard though, and like I say, I thought Swinger and Simon Diamond, they look solid enough. So
it was an all right match. It's the usual way that ECW. That's the only thing. It was the usual trope, formulate that come out, and again we'll see it, and again later with another match that's formulated. But it's the usual fast-paced opening. You get the young babyface tag team,
the Young Bucks.
Fuck off. York and Matthews, the young babyface tag team. I'm trying to build up. You got the heel tag team with the Gimmick and Swinger. So. As Jack said, they offend me much, but it was
a good start. At least.
It was okay, but I do really like Simon Diamond. Simon Diamond is a boy. I'm going to say that's a positive. I really like Simon Diamond.
Well, there you go. Something. Joey Styles is back as as the heels try to put a beat down on the babyface. Basically, Kid Cash runs out to the rescue, and this leads to another match.
I want a match.
There we go. And as I just said, formulate this always fucking happens in ECW.
I don't quite understand, especially when you're trying to sell pay-per-views. And CW Anderson has a match, I believe, or he should have had a match with Super Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't particularly think you need. I don't mind maybe the opener leading to that because that wasn't booked. But this just seems like, why does CW Anderson now want to have a match with Kid Cash? It doesn't.
Who was meant to be in another match? CW is another boy. I really like CW.
Well, we'll get to CW.
Fuck the rest.
Kid Cash dives onto the tags for the opener, which gets a holy shit chant from the crowd. I like Cyrus's comment. Did you hear Cyrus's comment about Joey Styles being late?
Joey, you're later than a rat's period.
You're later than a rat's period.
Oh, jeez.
Right. It's a great line. Kid Cash takes down CW Anderson with Hurricane Rana. CW explodes out the corner with a body check. Joey Styles runs down the changes to the card as Cash leaps over the top.
Buy the pay-per-view?
And that's the point, isn't it? Into a Hurricane Rana.
If WWF or WCW did this, people would be pissed off. And
I don't think many people was buying it for CW versus Super Crazy.
Yeah, but any little thing, because people want to find a reason to be offended.
Cash then flying onto CW Anderson into the front row. There's a Ferris wheel suplex by CW and a nice reversal. There's a weird looking arm hook, sort of, do-si-do move. It's very weird. The crowd are not very kind to that. They basically tell them that they've fucked up. CW, at the very least, in an ECW show, makes Sam smile by working a body part as he works the arm.
Proper Anderson. You got arms, Ed. You got to work like you.
It's an on bar, I would say. Hey, I tell you.
I see it. On bar.
The crowd are kind to Cash, who is absolutely miles away on that bouncing swanton. Now, don't give him shit. And he's miles away on it.
He's an ugly man, though.
He is. Bow with a bow. Did you like Cyrus calling a slap to the chest a tit buster.
It's a tit buster.
That's a tit buster. Beaut. There was a really nice. There's a nice left hook by C.W. Anderson, which Cash sells really nicely. TKO by CW for a 2. Cyrus is very heavy on how technical CW is. I think he's trying to get over that
He's a wrestler.
different. Yeah, he's different to this roster full of New Jacks. There's an amazing Bret Hart stalling suplex, which I ain't bothered what anyone says that should have.
Oh, is that the superplex?
When he does the superplex off Bret's rope,
yeah, and
stalling.
he's stuck there.
That should have been it. It just should have won it.
That was.
Then CW hits the spine buster, which I assume is his finish, but it can't beat Cash. This is Kid Cash, and
Super Kid Cash.
He hits a tornado
Hey,
DDT out of nowhere. There's no build to it. He basically gets straight back up, straight into the tornado DDT, and it's over. And that basically says, don't get excited about anything we're going to do with C.W. Anderson, because he can't beat Kid Cash.
But he feuds with Tommy Dreamer later on.
Battle with the battle.
Show, that's one of the featured matches.
C.W. Anderson had, even though he's not going to ever be your poster boy, he had more upside than Kid Cash, because Kid Cash is not anything more than a believable.
He's the wrestler in the show. He's the one that you could build a story around.
I suppose maybe because you had the 2 back-to-back matches, you needed that sort of light and dark. You couldn't have both the heels go over. But if there was more creative ways, maybe like Tommy Dreamer coming out to cost C.W. Anderson. I love the stalling suplex. I thought the styles just meshed really, really well. You know what I mean? The powerhouse technical wrestler against the spot wrestler. Yeah,
it always works.
And they worked really, really hard. They had just enough time.
Was this the match where Cyrus said something like that, and he said about Joey Styles? Can't wait to give your opinion because we know how you've been in the ring. And Joey Styles just went, well, there's something like that.
Cyrus was a wrestler, though, weren't he? Because he
wanted him and Martel was going to be brought in WF as the models.
Amazing. That should have happened. But yeah,
said no.
I enjoyed that match. Absolutely. Yeah, no real complaints other than I would have changed the finish.
I'd have changed the finish, and I'd have actually changed how you started it instead of just having Kid Cash run out and lead from a beat down on the previous match. So you call rest it out like, okay, that's it. Here comes Kid Cash. Here comes, it's just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's a trope that unfortunately happened a lot around this time. But yeah, CW should have won.
I can't argue with that.
I love it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match until the finish. I was really enjoying it. I thought they worked well together. I thought it was 2 people who've got a future with the company. I know it's dated like 3 months or whatever, but you can see that these 2, if it carried on for another year or 2, would be upper mid-card talent. But the finish just really took me by surprise because it is like, I've just kicked out of your finish, then he's tried to go for the moneymaker thing and blocked it, and then tornado DDT, that's it, finish, get out of there.
What was Kid Cash's finish?
What is this?
Well,
bow with the bow, bang, bang.
My only issue with Kid Cash, Kid Cash is that he never saw. I know it's difficult because basically he is. The gimmick is you look a bit like Kid Rock.
Yeah.
So we will call you Kid Cash. And
you are Kid Rock.
But his gimmick never fleshed out. Like really,
not even. He had a couple of months. There's only a couple of months left of the company, and he is just the bloke who comes out and dives on people.
But you had that in the first. You had that in the first 2, didn't you? And that's the problem. I think he had more of an upside than Mercury.
He had more of a
Matthews and York. Look, they and the Hardy Boys. You just
than the White Meat Babyface tag team.
But I would have liked to have seen him done more with Kid Cash because
it's just
he's a good worker. He is very good.
He's all right. I think he has got his level.
Yeah,
with the cruiserweights. No, he not. God, no. But
did he ever have a little man like Kid Rock had?
The little kid.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
Vern Troyer one week.
So we now get the intro to the show.
So was this the pre-show? Is this the pre-show?
Which I suppose is better late than never, and it features a hell of a lot of RVD, who isn't there, unfortunately.
This might start.
Yeah.
So we go to
the
our...
one that stuck around and then decided to piss off.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't blame him.
We go to our opening third match as coming out are the team of, and this is abuse, it's Easy Money, Julio De Niro, and everyone's favourite star is Chris Hamrick.
Grumpy old...
What are you doing here, Chris?
Grumpy old
Fucking love
Confederate man.
Another boy, I'm telling you.
What have you done with
No, he's just fucking ugly. He's with Electra, and basically, we're finally following the format card now. King Catherine's supposed to be in this match with Danny Doring and Roadkill, but obviously he's just wrestled. Joey tells us that the Mook who doing the announcement duties got it wrong because he announces it as a tag match, and Chris Hamrick is trying to tell, well, I'm in this match. Roadkill fucking over with the crowd. They love Roadkill.
Not Doring.
Did you not love Roadkill?
You've stalled your face.
I am Roadkill. You're an Amish chicken player.
I am Roadkill.
So you need to shave that bit and do the choke in the chicken.
He is a boy.
I don't know why it works, them two together, but for some reason it does.
Do you think it does? Because I was
He's a
thinking
heel,
this.
Danny Doring.
Yes,
Danny
I
Doring
think
is
actually you see where the better tag team at the end of this. What I think could have been a really
Roadkill
over
and
tag team.
Spike.
Yeah, I think they could have been really over because look,
Spike went with balls.
Spike's nuclear. Spike's pop is the same as Stone Cold. Like, it's ridiculous how over.
So over.
He
Spike
was.
Dudley is.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get to that because Hamrick grabs the mic. He cuts a very funny yokel promo. he knows it isn't
Proper
fair.
Southern.
Oh God, he's proper yokel, isn't he?
Yeah.
George
Southern. Hamrick the Slack John Yokel.
It's a brilliant gimmick. I love it. I love that gimmick. It isn't fair to Danny Doring.
He's got a lived-in face.
I can't believe how he's making a living, especially because he does not look like he should be taking bumps, but he takes a hell of a lot of bumps.
You know, I think, and you might want to correct me. You know that clip where you've got 1, 2, 3 kid fighting each other, and he kicks his legs and he dives through the ropes. That's him.
Chris Hamrick.
That's Chris Hamrick.
Sure it is.
He does do that bump, and we'll talk
bump,
about it in a minute. And if he's still walking, I'll be really surprised.
Is he still alive?
I love
Because
it
he
now.
looked about 100 odd.
I don't know what it is, but I really... What I remember vividly from this pay-per-view... I don't know what it is. I don't know why. The yokel gimmick. Yeah, anyway, he says it's not fair to Danny Doring and Roadkill that they have an advantage, but doesn't give a fuck. Does he say fuck or shit?
I think it's fuck.
I think he does, yeah, because that day, you know...
That way did it out.
No.
Who gives a fuck, I think he says.
Yeah.
And they attack anyway. There's a nice triple team assisted springboard drop kick on Roadkill. That was a mouthful. And this is the cue for little Spike Dudley to join us.
With his leg brace that...
Yeah, which is he tears off in the process and heads to the ring. He's fit to wrestle again, and he's filling in for cash. So over that. I mean, that music anyway works well for that because it's got such a strong and then that's it. You're popping it there.
Yeah, unfortunately we watch it on the network there.
Well, I didn't. I watched it on VK, so I watched with better music. So
really?
Yeah.
Ben took the time to find the
actual
in the ghetto.
The new Jack one that I couldn't keep listening to it. So I thought I'm watching this on the actual
the
DVD
video
or whatever it was. Yeah.
I wonder if you get anything different to us.
And there is one thing that I think I get different
An
to you.
extra match.
No, it's just Joey
Prodigy
pimping the website, which I don't think was in
there.
Yeah, Spike Dudley running wild on the three guys. He's so over the crowd, completely buy into him. Hamrick now takes his absolute awful looking butt dive through the ropes, but obviously it's not WCW or WWE, so it's concrete.
Yeah.
He literally lands on his arse.
I think I broke my temple.
we of course get the big dive spot where everyone takes turns leaping onto the hallway.
This happens again later in another show.
I think it happens in every match.
We see it later on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Roadkill hits plenty of big moves with a power slam, and the faces hit their own triple team move. Things do eventually settle down into a regular tag match as the heels work over.
Match breaks out.
The heels working some heat on Danny Doring when Easy Money catches him with a lariat. Doring sells the heat with Easy Money, hitting the bankroll suplex. Spike is in, does his normal great job on the apron, getting the crowd G'd up. They really want to... No, sorry, he's not in. Spike, in particular, does a really good job on the apron, trying to get the crowd to, want the hot tag.
Yeah.
But they want him, not the person who gets the hot tag. There's a nice guillotine leg drop by Hamrick, boy. And this is where I put it, he just looks so unlike a cruiserweight, but he wrestles like a proper flippy flip.
I know, yeah.
It's unbelievable. Danny Doring hits the G-spot suite. Is there a worse name in wrestling than that?
That was his gimmick.
It's the stroke, but he's terrible.
It's a terrible name.
Awful. And
he's
then
so dislikable.
Roadkill makes the hot tag, takes down our heels with big power moves. Spike is what the crowd really wants, though, and he eventually gets in. The heels try to go after the previously injured leg, but Spike survives that. And now we get what I have trademarked as finisher madness. Because basically everyone hits everyone hits a finishing move, and it leads to the acid drop being blocked into a sit-out powerbomb. There's a lovely springboard clothesline by Roadkill. I mean, again, he's very agile for a big bloke to walk the ropes.
Well, he was going to be taken as a phone.
Sam smiles because the bingo card of things that happen in ECW happens because Elektra takes the jawbreaker from Danny Doring.
Did you hear what it was called?
The bareback.
Bareback.
Oh, dear.
And Joey Styles said that's probably not the first time he's done that tonight to her.
Christ.
Yep.
Eventually, Spike gets the assisted acid drop on Hamrick, and that is all she wrote. Little Spike Dudley is the winner. With assist of Roadkill and Danny.
Assist of Roadkill.
Sam, thoughts on the match?
When it was an actual 6-man tag and there was tags, it was fine. But it was just the usual trope of, oh, we've got a 6-man tag. Oh, you ain't got a partner. I'm going to start. Then here comes the partner. It's just typical ECW bullshit from this time period.
He hates it,
Yes, I do. I do not like this promotion. Spike is the right person now to come out because he is the most over. Roadkill, I'm still surprised. Why is he over?
Look at him. He looks like me and I'm over.
It's caused me and Jack on Tuesday to have a marathon of Roadkill.
We just researched Roadkill.
How did you?
WWE.
The one thing I will say, they said Easy Money is a big man. Fuck off, is he a big man?
He's not.
No, he's not. But I do like it because I know he went to WCW before that died.
Did he?
Easy Money.
We saw him.
Yeah, he was Jason Jett, or he was in all the cruiserweights.
Yeah.
Because he makes the gear. He made his own gear. He's like somebody that gear too for us.
Okay.
Yeah,
He loves a cowboy.
Jack, thoughts on the 6-way?
I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I mean, I know Sam hates all the tropes, but I just think it worked here, and they all did quite well. It was the right winner. It felt like it should have been the opener, really. It was the opener.
Yeah, and I think that the only thing you could argue is that it feels like you've had the opener has happened through 3 matches.
Yeah,
because this pay-per-view could have been really better paced out because we now go into a sort of segment of.
But it always
just
happens.
gets a bit messy.
This is what
I don't particularly mind the sort of smorgasbord of you're going to have your wrestling match, you're going to have your high flyer. This is like
there's a wrestling match.
This is I know it's not, but it's kind of luchador-esque in the way that it's set up the 6-man and bouncy and all that. And you're going to have your big sort of the ECW match, which has got fire and all that. But in this, it just feels like they go. Here's a load of technical flippy flip. Now here's a load of hardcore shit. And here's your crazy main event. and it just doesn't feel paced right, especially when you get to the main event where people are just basically chanting, "This is bullshit," because it just feels so poorly organised. And I think that's the thing with me, is that ECW is a bit crap in many ways. It is. It just is a bit crap. But that is part of its charm. But like when it's disorganised crap, it becomes a bit hard to watch. But this match was fine. This was absolutely fine.
If you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, it can be a bit.
You've got to buy
see
it
through the cracks, like, and you think, fucking hell.
I tried the Kool-Aid and I pulled that face. You pulled it.
Someone was drinking something for the next promo, because we go to the snarling promo of Rhino.
My whole life, I've brawled on the streets of Detroit. I hate brawling. New Jack, you want to get in my face? New Jack, you want to come after me? Oh, New Jack, I'm going to show you how I can fight. I'm going to show you how exactly I fight. And you know what? You'll realize, just like every single person in ECW, you'll realize the only way you can beat me is to wrestle me. And you know what? Your chances are very slim. Very fucking slim! That's the only chance you have to wrestle me. New Jack, I'm done brawling. I'm gonna make you an example of what I can do and what I've done on the streets of Detroit. New Jack, I'm gonna take your face, rip it off. I'm gonna shove it down your throat. You're gonna have to shit your own face out. You're gonna have to shit your face out next time you sit on the toilet. And you know what, New Jack? You are my example. And then you'll see why I am the ECW World Television Champion. Why? People, their only chance is to wrestle me. And they won't win. They won't win. Why? Because I'm the ECW World Television Champion. Rhino.
And they sort of set it as he's an uncaged beast, because the camera's all over the place. And Rhino plays up to that by talking absolute bollocks for about a minute and a half. I've never heard so much shit in my life. He loses track. The only way you're going to beat me is if you wrestle me. And if you can't wrestle me, if you wrestle me, you won't beat me. And then he basically tries to get it back on track by being a badass, by telling New Jack he's going to rip off his face, shove it down his throat, so he has to shit his own face the next time he's on the toilet.
When he says, "He's on the toilet," I just cracked up when he said that. I thought, I've never heard of the promo.
We're polite here in ECW.
Say the word toilet.
We don't shit in the street, we shit in the toilet.
You're going to eat your own
But
face.
it don't make sense. He said he's been brawling on the streets of Detroit, and he's fed up of brawling, so the only way to beat him is to wrestle him. But he don't want to wrestle yet. You're going to have to...
And I'm going to
brawl with him. I'm going to brawl with you, and I'm going to make you shit out your own face.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's
Rhino,
one of the worst promos, but most memorable promos.
Scripted.
Someone should have... I mean, they could have replayed this and just said, look, just keep... I don't mind the shit face thing. It's kind of...
so stupid.
Yeah,
it's ECW.
It's kind of like, empty threat Rhino.
Empty threat Rhino.
It's
What if he's
not so
Empty
disorganised.
threat Rhino.
And especially when he's got the biggest upside of anyone on that card. I mean, he's got a massive, massive upside to him.
Well, he's the one that they was building, more than really, considering
Well,
everything
he was
finished.
the next big thing for him, or he's only 24, I think, at this point.
He's
He's so good, but his promos are...
Oh, he caught.
He needs a mouthpiece.
Caught.
Cyrus should have been there to cut the promo because he's with them, the network.
Well, he was.
Well, there was, but obviously they've had to drop the network gimmick, because how can he work for a network that they're no longer on? So
the channel.
Yeah. They just needed to. I think they just needed to tweak Cyrus's character a little bit so you could get him on camera a bit more. Because I agree with you.
I think we see a bit more of him later.
Rhino could have probably done with having some focus. That's all I would say. And
I don't like the camera work though. It's all shaky and all over the place.
I think it's hard to watch, but I understand why they did that, because I think they're trying to sort of make up that he's he's animalistic, uncaged and stuff. Now this match, fuck me, right? Louis Dangerously is out.
Where did this go? This Louis Dangerously stuff.
I don't know
what
why.
Was the point of it?
I don't know why Louis Dangerously.
I'm looking at you because you probably know.
Did you
book it?
You
was 8 years old.
Well, yeah, but you've probably watched it going back.
Chris Chetty, to
I
me...
don't think it does do anything.
Well, Chris Chetty was basically, let's set the scene. Chris Chetty and Nova were a tag team. Chris Chetty basically turned on Nova, which was a trope at the time. Everyone turned on Nova.
Vince.
They obviously
turned on Nova.
Yeah, they obviously didn't have confidence in Chetty, so they gave him a mouthpiece, and the only sort of discernible other mouthpiece that wasn't a woman was Louis Dangerously, who I think is sort of like the counterpart to...
He's signed Guy Dudley.
Is it signed Guy? But he's basically the counterpart to Paul.
I think he was in the network. I think he was in the network.
Yeah. But he's awful.
Louis or Chetty?
Louis.
He shits on Chicago to build some heat and get people to care about Chetty. Chetty adds the... Chetty Bang Bang.
Chetty Bang Bang.
That's a gimmick, isn't it? I mean, God, how did they not think of that?
Chetty Bang Bang.
He adds a stipulation before the bout, which basically is that if whoever loses, I think he says, is gone, which Nova never agrees to, and Louis Dangerously is pissed off about. But okay, basically,
don't worry. In a couple of months, you'll both have left.
It seems really early in the feud to be doing this because Nova, I think he was turned on about a week ago, and now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, he does. He's already signed a developmental deal. Obviously,
I can't believe the what ECW picked him up.
It just would have been nice to build.
They're the big Chetty.
You just like you're adding stakes to a match that's on the fly doesn't really add heat.
Yeah,
you know
it
what
would
I
have
mean?
been better if you just
they probably
put it on TV.
They pick him up because he's Taz's cousin. They mentioned that, don't they?
He does look a bit Taz-like.
He said that he's the first cousin of Taz.
They're all midgets, aren't they? Because he had really big. Chetty and Nova, as I say, used to be a team, and Chetty turned on Nova in August. Since then, he's taken on Louis Dangerously as his manager. Nova is fired up over the betrayal, so he's showing much more aggression to start. He's wearing he's wearing his Venom gear, which I think he's sort of migrating now to doing that. And
he's not a stepping stone anymore.
Well, it's ahead of its time because I mean, people are doing that a lot. Like they do it now at WrestleManias and stuff, don't they? So. It was ahead of its time.
To do with him, and I think he had a Green Lantern gear and things like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think nice gear Nova.
Fuck Nova.
Fuck off Nova. Yeah, nice gear Nova.
Alright then, I'll allow that.
Nova gets aggressive and throws a chair at Louis Dangerously, which clocks the cameraman.
Cameraman, leave him alone.
Chetty immediately blades as he headbutts.
Because you see it though. You
see him do it. He might as well go, right then.
There's a couple of times I saw that where you just see him.
He makes no attempt to hide it.
I was looking at these. There's like two goths in the front row, and you can see him like looking directly at him. I think he might be cutting himself here.
Cyrus tells us this is the first match between them, so obviously it's loser leaves. Super kick by Chetty as Louis grabs.
I hate you so much. After the first match, you've got to piss off.
Chetty goes into a chair in the corner, and we get a somber talk as they sell Chetty's old back injury. But Swerve, scissor kick, he's fine. The thing is, though, I don't think the crowd actually pick up because he's so quick. That they didn't bring ENTs in or anything.
No,
there's no heat, so he just gets up and the crowd is like,
the big thing as well is distracting the ref so Louis can get in it, the low blow, and then he gets up. What's the point in distracting the ref?
In ECW.
No DQs in anything.
I think that happened. I don't know if it was later on or it happened earlier with CW, and I saw the ref turn around. And I thought, what's the point?
When he did the spy buster.
It's like in the tag matches, it's difficult to get the heel heat when you can just do anything.
That's why you need. That's why you need to have rules. You need some rules to break them. For psychology, and if you just say there's no rules, there's no psychology.
I mean, it is the easiest job there's ever been, ain't being an ECW ref. Yeah. I mean, you literally have to do nothing.
I've got a rant about one ref later on. I've got a rant about one ref later.
Well, look, more on that to come.
Yes.
I'm not. As I say, I'm not sure that the crowd are picking up because the pacing's too quick. There's Booker T style sidekick for a 2. Nova now is already he's bleeding. He's done a blade job. Chetty hits Nova's finish on him, which is the Nova Cane for a 2. Nova rallies. No sells a chair shot. There's nice aggression as the crowd do pop and start to care. Inzaguri, the crowd now are behind Nova. Modified pedigree, sort of turns it into a
rocker dropper.
Yeah, rocker dropper. Is that what he's called? The rocket drop, or was that with a hook?
The famous. Well, yeah, he hooked him, the
Yeah.
Genetti.
Yeah, because that's when he.
Oh, that was when he killed them. Yeah.
Well, he didn't
did
kill him. He broke his neck.
He got sued, did he? And
Well,
then Dimalenko took it and said...
He has killed him, Genetti, he said on Facebook.
Oh, when he was 13, because he wanted some weed.
But he didn't kill him.
He wanted some weed, and the man wanted some certain favours. So he goes, "Why ain't nobody looked in the river?"
Oh God!
Yeah, but Genetti, I think you need help, mate.
He's a boy.
Yeah. Baseball side to Louis dangerously. There's 2 consecutive pole drivers, but Louis cracks the phone on the back of the head of Nova. Nova survives the cover. Louis, I mean, this is the issue, I think. Louis has been a distraction throughout all this match. It's supposed to be about this blood feud between the two of them, and Louis dangerously is involved so much that you could have just done the phone spot and that was it, but he's so involved in everything. It's too distracting. Nova reverses a top rope Hurricane Rana, hits his kryptonite crunch, and off the top for the win. Nova's won. Chetty's out. Jack, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't really care for it. It was a bit, it just felt a bit bum rushed. It was like, here we go. We're now having this. We're now having this fucking stipulation, and it didn't really need that stipulation. And it felt like this is a blood feud, and this is what we've got. It didn't feel like it
you gave us Chetty.
It didn't feel like it fit the narrative. If you really hate each other, what the fuck are we doing this style of match? Why are you just beating the piss out of each other?
Well, don't you think anyway? Chetty's gone, you know that anyway. So what purpose does it serve? Unless you're trying to humanise Nova a little bit.
You are not human.
Then what you need to do is you're trying to get over the aggression of Nova. He's pissed off and he's fed up now that people are taking advantage of him. He's going alone and he ain't put it. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And so why didn't he just come out and beat the living piss out of Chris Chetty and beat him clean? Just beat the living dog shit out of him. Because it's so believable anyway because of the size. It's a squash. Chetty does the job on his way out, and then you leave Nova in a position where he's a much stronger person on the roster.
Build him up further.
Yeah, because now all of a sudden he's got that aggressive streak. The booking was crap. The story was probably the best of the show so far because it had a story.
Yeah,
but it was so rushed. And I just hated Louis dangerously as a manager. There's a certain art to being a manager, knowing when to get involved and when not to, and no one's told that art to Louis dangerously.
I'm surprised the Fed Day pick him up with Jetty to come to development.
No, instead of picked him up and thrown him off a cliff.
Yeah,
it was probably a bit hard.
Well, that was a bit hard. It was just the usual high spot match that you have, and the usual rebooking where you have a match and then all of a sudden somebody cuts a long promo which can shut up basically.
Yeah.
The rebook, it's loser league. But I don't realise Chetty that was signed. I thought it was just he was going anyway because he was getting paid.
He come back.
That's believable.
Before the end.
Yeah.
Did it?
Of the ECW.
So he was only in development for a very short period.
Yeah, they probably got him there of inspiration.
We wanted Louis. Where's Louis?
I've been waiting on this night, son, for too long. Tonight, it's me and you. You ain't got Justin in your corner tonight. You ain't got nobody that you can distract me so you can run up and pull that little move, throwing me through a table. You see, the last few matches we had, or the last few encounters we had, you drilled me. And I laid there. And I was in pain. The problem you had is you didn't kill me. And when I laid there, I started thinking how to get him back. I brought out all my toys now. You gonna have to be in the ring with me tonight, looking at me one-on-one. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Stephen King couldn't have dreamed up a better thing than this. You understand? This will be the night that I open you up like a doctor and gut you and eat your guts out like a buzzard. And then I'll take that little belt of yours. I don't want it to wear. I don't want it to show no fans. I don't want it for my kids to play with it. I got car problems right now. And I'm gonna pawn that belt. I'm gonna go down on the strip and find a hooker and give it to her for something. I'm gonna take it to my boys in the hood and gamble with it. I'm gonna do everything you ain't supposed to do with it because I don't care about that belt. What I care about is getting your big fat butt in the ring with me and taking my staple gun and boom, right in the head, and boom, in the head again. And I take this and stick it in your face and rip you wide open. Then what you gonna do? Sit there and squeal like a pig. This is your night. We gonna knuckle up, boy. We gonna knuckle up. Bring your ass to me, cause you mine.
New Jack now cuts a promo backstage. Yeah, he doesn't care about having belts. He says if he wins the TV title tonight, he's going to do all the things he's not supposed to do with it, like give it to a hooker, gamble with it. It's just
I actually
brilliant.
quite like it because it fits his
Oh,
gimmick.
it's the best. It's the best promo
gimmick.
by a mile
Yeah.
on this roster.
Now,
It is.
today,
Are you talking the Sinister Minister one?
Oh, I do like that.
There's three better.
But
There's the toilet one, the Sinister Minister one, and then there's Sandman having a piss.
Oh, that like, oh fuck.
That
no.
this is the best promo.
No,
by
this
a
is
mile.
the best promo. I like New Jack because he's
We're going to knuckle up. We're going to knuckle up.
Well, except that bit.
He ain't really a gimmick. He's
No,
just,
he
is.
But this is
The
what I was
most
thinking.
believable man on the
This is
roster.
what I was thinking with it.
He's gonna
This is
kill
why
me.
ECW needed at this time to get away from the weapons and just make it him because that's his gimmick. That he's the street fighter and
Well,
kind of
the
thing.
biggest-
That is him on his own, and the rest.
The
try and
biggest
get
thing
away
I
from-
think is that you don't book that match after flaming tables as we go to the ring.
We haven't got the Dudleys basically.
So stupid that is. But who or just at the very least have one match between them. Anyway, before we get there, Cyrus is annoyed that there is no format. So am I. The Baldies defeated Balls at Anarchy Rules, and they powerbombed him through the table, the flaming table on Hardcore TV. So this is why we're having this match, which is basically to put people through flaming tables. Not quite understand what the motivation of the Baldies are, because they've already done it. But okay.
What's the motivation of the cold cock?
yeah. I put chili balls, but
Chili balls.
Chili balls.
Yeah, well, it's William Balls. That's the reason.
I thought it was meat and two veg. I thought that was the name of the team. It's brilliant.
Or it could be Chili Mahoney.
Absolutely brilliant.
Meat and two veg.
DeVito is one ugly bastard.
Hey, Fed picked him up.
He is ugly though.
He is ugly,
Oh,
but
he's
the Fed
ugly.
picked him up.
He's ugly.
Kept getting cane by his hand, man. Now, but
Ugly. It's a wild brawl from the off. No pretense whatsoever of being an actual tag match, which is probably fine. Bill Apter's at ringside, by the way.
why did the camera then just all of a sudden look at Bill Apter and then disappear?
He should have looked
Terrible camera.
I'm in disgust. Balls.
I like Bill Apter, but I don't want to see him.
Balls, brains, both baldies. That's a really mouthful.
That was his. Eh?
Balls, brains, both baldies. It's like a bloody dumb.
Both brains, both baldies.
Yeah, with the chair before heading out for a
It's a lot
table.
of bees, that is.
Now, I know we've always said this, but this is the problem with the tables match,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because anything that happens that doesn't involve a table is pointless.
That's what I said. I think we did it with Lockdown with Raven and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
That
we
table
did.
match, so that's why I realised table matches and shit. What's the psychology really? Unless you just keep
Well,
going
you've
through it.
got no near falls, have you?
Yeah, exactly.
The only way you can do it is if you do the. Well, you've got to do what Brett and Owen did with the cage, which is like trying to escape the cage.
Yeah, and you've got to
makes it-
keep trying.
So you've got to
to put 'em through.
constantly try and put them through
Yeah.
the table. If you're just going to beat them piss out of them,
Just bugger off in the crowd.
Yeah,
Bugger off in the crowd. Nobody can see anything.
3/4 of the match.
Basically, watching this on telly was like when we went
Yeah,
to the
couldn't see
Chikara
football.
thing when Loki and that pissed
Well,
off, which is a good thing.
It just
But we couldn't
highlights
see it.
it just highlights their production deficits.
Yeah.
But if you know you've got not got that, don't do it. That's
No,
the
no,
point.
that's
It's
not
so
it.
silly. I can understand it.
walk and brawl.
up the thing where
I
you
don't
get the
particularly
camera.
mind them doing it in like house shows or things for the crowd because the crowd
Yeah,
love that
it's-
shit.
Yeah,
But
house
as a pay per view, it's so silly.
Pay per view and TV. Hopefully, you'd think they've at least got a cameraman who can follow them. But yeah,
Well, they didn't,
don't
yeah.
do it then. No,
Well,
not
this is
yet.
perfect.
Yeah,
I
so
agree,
despite that, we still get a brawl out into the crowd. The crowds are into it, but they let them know that they can't see shit. Even the camera crew struggle, so that means I can't see shit. Thankfully, though, they keep the crowd brawling to a minimum up to this point in the show. So this is the first time we've sort of had this spill into the crowd. So at the very least, it's unique.
It don't happen again.
Yeah.
Thank God.
If you don't like brawling, it's unlikely to change your mind this match. And if you do like brawling, then I suppose you might enjoy this match. Because basically, I have nothing to write. All I've put here is I'm going to guess which of Sam and Jack will enjoy this one the most.
You already know.
At one stage, we head to the entranceway, and Chilly Willy suplexes Angel. He convulses. I mean, he loves a cell, doesn't he, Angel?
Oh, everything sounds like it's been tasered.
Yeah, that's the only way he knows how to sell.
Because he's a Devon Dudley school of selling.
So are they like the Poundland Dudleys, the Baldies?
The unprotected chair shot now, though, is...
the nasty one on the
Horrible.
stage.
Oh,
Jesus
he really takes
Christ
it. It's
almighty.
Chilly Willy, for God's sake, man. Don't ruin your life. You're Chilly Willy.
I got brain by Willie.
Angel sets up two chairs and then his power bombs Chilly Willy through them, which thankfully, at the very least, allows Chilly Willy to sell for a bit. The Baldies work over Balls back inside and they set up a table, but Balls fights them off, giving DeVito the Nutcracker Suite off the top rope. It's very dangerous looking, but I'm sure he does it quite safely. He's a fairly decent wrestler for his size, even though he's never wrestled.
Amateur wrestler as well, I think.
You can tell how much he protects. Well, he don't protect the fucking head.
Yeah.
The chair shots.
Not the chair shot. Don't give him a chair, then you're fine. But he is a decent wrestler, Balls Mahoney.
Yeah.
But I think he just found his niche, because obviously he was in Smoky Mountain Warriors. Was it Boo Bradley? His gimmick.
I don't know. Well, he was in WWE. He was in WWE.
Boo Bradley. He was in WWE a couple of times. Well, he was Santa.
We've seen him. Yeah. We've seen him both times. Yes. Anyway, where am I? Angel tries to chair Balls.
The table's on fire.
But Willie disarms him. Balls gets the suite on him.
By a Willie.
Strange, isn't it? All the notes feel a bit weird.
Balls and Willie all over this match.
This leads to Chilly Balls preparing the table. What I think it looks like is, you remember when Homer did the barbecue?
When he
basically that.
And then like woof!
And they light the table ablaze. Angel takes the trip through it, and Balls has his.
I don't think DeVito ever took the joke through the table.
Angel was the only one that ever fought New Jack in their feud. So I think Angel was sort of New Jack's mate, I think, as well.
I've just put, look, who wants to see a straight up Balls Mahoney Chilly Willy tag match? No one. So the crowd loved it. It was fine. You've got ECW. You've got to have fire. For whatever reason, that is what it is. It is the only thing that really sets them apart from WWE now as well, because other companies are doing these sort of wild brawls. The only thing that ECW is willing to do is fire.
Let's go further.
So them protecting that. The fact that it was only done once on the show was the right thing. Is Chilly Willy the right fit for this kind of match?
Well, they kept saying everybody else was protected, but Chilly Willy wasn't even wearing a shirt.
Well, that was the point I was about to make. Well, did I ever believe that Chilly Willy was going to go through the table, seeing as he wasn't wearing any gear?
Well, even if he was going to go through it, wouldn't he be like Cody and wear all that cleanly fireproof stuff on him?
I'm not quite sure on Chilly Willy where I stand with him, because I mean, it's so hard to gauge where he falls in this roster.
It's sort of like he's like a name, but he's one that you can beat.
Well, he just doesn't. He feels like he's involved in this.
You can beat Willie.
He just feels like he's involved with this feud between Balls and the Baldies, just because, like, he's got
Willie and Balls.
Yeah, it's because Willie and Balls, and because Axel Rotten, we don't know where he's gone. Spike Dudley's got 2 over. New Jack's got another thing going. So we need a partner for Balls and Chilly Willy.
I didn't hate the match, but it was what it was. Just
yeah.
The brawling in the crowd was too long for the fact that he didn't have the production value to shoot it.
To see it.
So no one knew what was
Something's
and there
happening.
was both doing it at the same time. Or like you had somebody in the ring where you could focus on them for a little bit.
Yeah.
There was both brawling in the crowd. There's a couple of spots where I don't know whether you need to do the stuff with the chairs and all that sort of stuff. I think it's a bit redundant to the tables match. But like you, I wasn't offended by it. It was a bit for a flaming tables match. I think it was done a bit poorly, and I don't think Chili Willy fits in these blood feud, bloody hardcore matches. But you know, for the most part, it was okay. I got through it.
I don't mind it. It's
Jesus Christ!
It's the match that it was what it was. I like the Baldies. I think that was for ECW, them the team that you could build on, and you could beat them. But them trying to be like the Dudleys, but them not quite the Dudleys, where they've got to be invincible. The brawling I don't like because, as you say, we couldn't see anything. Two lots should have stayed in the ring, so you could watch something, as opposed to finding Balls and Angel like up the corner. Which Chili Willy, I don't mind him. I think he was just, we need a tag partner. That was basically it. And here's Chili Willy.
Well, that's the problem I have with Chili Willy's booking, is it just feels inconsequential. Like, you know...
Did the Fed pick him up?
Yeah, he went to the Fed in a developmental deal. Chili Willy.
But it's surprising me because he's got a body. I suppose, you know, he's just got no charisma, has he, at all?
Yeah,
like...
I think if you worked with him, I reckon you could do something. It's not going to be like the biggest thing, but I reckon like in the lower card, you know, you could do something with him.
Yeah, you can't get cold cock over.
I don't mind.
Surely he should have been
cold cock.
Surely as well. No one likes cold cock. And surely
it's got to be warm.
He should have
cold
been,
cock is not good cock.
He should have been, you know, Warm Willy, and he should have had Chili Willy. Should have been a midget. Because a cold penis is without shrivels up, so he should have had a midget one called Chili Willy. Then Warm Willy, it would have been him. And he could have had the Willies.
It writes itself. How did I miss that?
I have
with one ball.
I might need to listen to that again, because all I heard was we need a little midget.
I think
it's got to be because he's cold Willy.
Chili Willy.
I think cut from your network version would have been Joey Styles now pimping the naked women pictures on the ECW.
Oh, is this where we got the promo of the show?
No. I think that's later on. But
is it?
Joey Styles does his sort of backstage.
It does say, I think after the Blue Boy thing, but you probably still get that.
I see that one as well. Yeah. So yeah,
it basically says there's naked women on ECW.com.
I bet the bloody
don't bother about the wrestling.
Basically, we then go backstage to Sinister Minister and Yoshihiro Tajiri.
There's people that bought the WCW magazine and have gone, well, this magazine's no good.
Sinister Minister does his normal sort of hype job on everything. He does a good job of putting over the rest of the show, in fairness to him.
I think that's what he did on every pay-per-view. He basically just said, oh, this has happened and this is what we've got. But there is something later on which actually, I think, legitimately did happen.
Yeah, I'll get to that. We were talking about it. So basically, he does a sort of Thanksgiving promo. Tajiri's thankful for
taters.
Well, taters it looks like, but that's apparently something to do with Francine.
She's a fish for the eyes. Tits.
Brilliant. Basically. And the promo ends in the most bizarre way ever, as basically Minister says, let the feast begin. He pans out, and then there's a flaming table with like a feast on it, and Mikey Whipwreck is hog-tied with an apple in his mouth, and Tajiri just sort of goes, whoa!
They did that a lot with Whipwreck, I think, to show he's mad, because there was one where he went through the pay-per-view, and he's like down in like an empty swimming pool, and he's like messing with puppets, and it's Whipwreck with all the strings attached to him. That was the promos.
He's absolutely balmy. I mean, I've never known anything like it.
It's balmy, but it's brilliant. So it's brilliant.
At the start of the show, obviously this was filmed before the show.
Yeah.
Sinister Minister was messing around backstage with a prop, Like
it was
a fire
to do
prop.
like a fireball or something.
And it exploded, and he was rushed to hospital. He actually legitimately lost part of his finger.
Yeah, because I think I've heard him say about this. He like cut all his hand up here, and his finger was like hanging off.
Jesus!
Like he said, he just ripped all his hand. Because I think there's a clip on YouTube of him like him on the stretcher.
We watched ECW a couple of weeks after it, where they basically show the stuff backstage and kill the whole kayfabe, because you see Big Sal just standing there,
watch it.
and then they try and in this they're obviously saying that the FBI cut off his finger. Which, okay, it's a bit tasteless, but I suppose it's ECW, for fuck's sake, I mean, there's no taste.
With my life support, just throw it.
So God, here we go. Now, I think I will have enjoyed this match purely because I had, what's it called, Dr. Dre and
Natural Born
Killers, yeah.
Instead of In the Ghetto.
I could not keep watching it, I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
It's horrible. Rhino has put New Jack through a table a couple of times on TV, but apparently New Jack actually got a legitimate pin over Rhino in a tag match leading up to it, so there is hope.
That the one where he teams with Carino? Because I asked you when we looked at the Hardcore TV, I said, why is New Jack with Carino? Carino looked like a heel. Carino's a heel, isn't he? Face?
That's my point. The booking's just all over the place. New Jack is out with a pacifier in his mouth. You tell him, I ain't. Tonight's weapons.
I'll tell him he's dead.
They ought to do that. You know, like on what's it called, the Generation game, where they tell you what's going to be on the conveyor belt. Tonight's weapons: metal bin, American football helmet, guitar, pool cue, Hoover.
A cuddly New Jack.
So New Jack cracks Rhino with the helmet and the trash can to start off. The pool cue is now busted over his back, and then a chain is used as a choke. Rhino has done a lot of selling here, and this is such a waste of him. So waste.
I agree.
It's not too hard to protect New Jack. You don't have to protect him because he's legitimately mad. New Jack uses the broken pool cue to crack the balls of Rhino, which is a nice spot. Rhino gets a very, very brief bit of offense with the clothesline. There's a ref bump, not sure why.
Oh, God, this is the ref thing now.
Well, what pisses me off is that Rhino, legitimate, I'm going to cut your face off and make you shit it, and I am a man beast, and you're going to be my victim, but I am going to hide behind this referee because now I'm a coward. It's like, fuck off, who booked this shit? Why is he fighting New Jack? It is stupid booking, this is. Really, really
Surely
stupid.
You've got somebody else who's better for a TV
title. New Jack can go with any jabroni fucking Jamoke heel, except for the big bad Rhino.
Chris Sandler.
Or you've got to have
the
Rhino.
big bad booty net.
Oh yeah, or you have got to have Rhino beat the living piss out of him again.
Yeah.
He's not a title contender.
Stupid.
Tag team, I know we had that with the gangsters.
But he tells you himself, I'm wrestling for belts. I don't really care about belts. I just want to beat people up. So,
money.
Well, don't do it with Rhino. Anyway, this basically brings out heel referee.
See, was he a heel ref? Because
Danny Daniels, his name was, which was a play on.
I know he had the wrist tape, but he didn't do anything in other matches he ref. But then the fact he tried to hit New Jack, and then New Jack just hit him. That confused me, because it's like, why is the ref trying to attack him? There's no build to it.
That's the problem.
He tried to screw him.
That's the problem.
Here we go, and then the ref just went, fuck you.
What's going on here? Because the commentary team don't really do a great deal of things.
Now I've explained. He's the one that I showed you on the Hardcore TV where he has the title match against Jerry Lynn the week before.
That's him.
That's the ref.
He does take a bloody staple gun to the head, in fairness to him.
For some reason, that's New Jack. Why is New Jack got a chain for the staple gun?
No idea.
What does that chain
It does pop the crowd. Rhino misses a splash. Thankfully, we're on to the finish spot now, as Rhino now sells a big guitar shot. So
with all the coke that New Jack was going to do.
He'll sell all the weapons, all of it. But the moment that he hits him with a guitar, he's now not.
I told you not to use the guitar.
It's not the best score he'll ever do. He picks up New Jack and sort of spears him through the table.
I think that's what he used to do anyway. Don't you, with the table? He don't run through him. He just picked him up.
I don't particularly mind that sort of
Because I know he used to
nuance
do
to it, 'cause he's
later on. He did the
powerful.
pole driver day off the thing through tables. Because he did it on Francine and then a couple of times.
Yeah, I hated this match. Is that Jack?
Yeah, it wasn't great. It's what I expected it to be, but in terms of the character of Rhino, I don't think it does anything. I think he comes out looking worse and he won the match.
Yes.
That'd be what I'd say. I think he's lost a bit of luster.
Do you think New Jack comes out better?
No.
No.
I
Exactly.
think New Jack comes out looking the same. And I think Rhino comes out looking worse.
Yep.
So I think it achieves nothing.
I think New Jack had to win this match for us for me to rest easy that this exists on the card because it hurts my brain because I just think to myself, if New Jack doesn't win, then you've achieved, well, maybe, but you've achieved nothing. Like in fact, you've had a negative because you've made Rhino look human at a time where he shouldn't. The whole story is he is a man beat Rhino, and
I don't know. Listening to his promo,
well, his whole promo was she called brawl me because I'm unbeatable, and then for
You
the
got to
first
rest.
5 minutes he gets his ass beat.
You've got to wrestle, mate. You're fighting New Jack. You're not going to have a wrestling match.
When he's taking the shot to the balls, and he's going to do the selling, the angel spot. When Rhino's doing that, it just really does make you think. He's just one of the rest. Anyway.
It's completely the wrong.
It's totally right. That is.
I don't mind the length of it. At least it was short because normally New Jack matches they go in the crowd.
It went on just on my thing. It was just after the song finished that it finished. So
I think that finished it as soon as the 3 hit. But it was completely the wrong match. It's not. This shouldn't have been the TV title match. You probably should have put Spike with Rhino and then just have Rhino kick his ass or something like that. Or as you say, you just kick New Jack's ass. But at the same time, I agree there is a place for New Jack with this kind of match, but it needs to be separate from the belt matches.
Yeah,
he needs to be like your attraction match. This is the hardcore promotion's hardcore match.
Yeah, he's an attraction.
He is. He's
the
gangster.
what it reminds
He is
me
the
of
street
is what
fighter.
Abdullah the Butcher would be if he was thin enough to not be able to move.
And to be honest, listening to New Jack's shoots, I don't think he'd like being compared to Abdullah, but that's kind of what he was.
That was what it
He was
reminded
the
me
new
of.
millennium's new Abdullah.
Yeah.
I nearly said New Jack. He's New Jack.
Well, he's dead now anyway, so he can't kill me.
Put him the Shark Boy. Then he's a proper
there you
boy.
go.
That's all.
Steve Corino and Jack Victory decide to invade Sandman's dressing room and mess with his stuff. There's a brilliant bit because Steve Corino wants to make sure Jack Victory is guarding the door as he's pouring out his beer.
Now, I'd agree with Sandman on this.
Yeah,
Pour that off here, I'll come kick your
Sandman
ass.
just comes through another door from a toilet and goes, "What the fuck's going on?" And we don't really see a brawl, but Jack Victory sort of pushes the cameraman, so we had it there. Fucking what a boy, man!
This is easy done.
Jack Victory marking the wrong
Why
door.
did I was going to say, why did he look and see that he was coming out? Why did he just attack him before he said
No,
anything?
it's better. I think it's funnier that
It's funnier that he just went,
So what the fuck you doing, you twat?
I didn't realise there's another door.
I love that segment. I did really enjoy that
A
segment.
lot of them happened though, they at that point.
I just thought he was a clever.
That was very
a bit of
inside and
comedy,
smarky though, later on as well, with some of the promos.
What,
Well,
like,
they kept mentioning High Spot and...
That's the company.
Yeah,
He did
but-
high spot in the first promo.
they do this anyway as well. That there is too much of that crap, but that isn't just ECW.
Yeah,
that was
that's the
happening. Fucking Shawn Michaels lays down for nobody.
Well,
So-
yeah, but that's a bit more subtle instead of like winking to the camera like AEW does. So.
Well, didn't the Headbangers tell us that the New Age Outlaws was going to do the JOB and the PPV?
I forgot.
Chaz was all I'm no longer doing a gimmick.
This is all Russo's fault. We all have to accept that. Right,
Wrestling shit.
our tag team was definitely around then. Tag team titles match then.
I guess better. Here comes Nunzio.
Yep, Sammy's boy. The FBI, which is Guido and Marmaluke with Big Sal, and that team it's beautiful in it. The contrasting.
Did you?
Huge fat man with
Massive,
two small
huge
feet.
fat
It
bloke.
does look like somebody in the mafia and go, "This is me heavy."
It just
And he is
works.
heavy.
I don't know what it is, but there is
It
just
works.
it's just
I
a
do like the
beautiful
FBI, and I
look.
like the theme. Although we got the dub version, do you know what the theme was that they usually?
Wasn't
You had
it? I didn't note it down. No, it was
I know.
Night Fever or
It was Staying Alive.
Staying
but
Alive.
It was,
that was it.
by Entrance, it was like a remix.
Yeah.
rap
Well,
thing.
because I was going to say it wasn't Bee Gees, but I knew it.
but it is like a.
What did you get then? Was that like a dub?
It was
Yeah,
sort
we
of a
did.
dub. You
Yeah.
could tell. You could tell it was that, but I know what it was.
Or another one rides the bus.
Oh, that'd be fun. Or the fun version from The Sims.
And the unholy alliance of Mikey Whipwreck and Yoshihiro Tajiri are out, but they aren't with the Sinister Minister. And again, the commentary team put over that the FBI took his finger. Joey Styles puts over Mikey Whipwreck beating Steve Austin. Just to remind you, he beat Steve Austin. He beat Steve Austin, you know. I do like these versions of the ECW tag titles, though.
The one with the
straps.
buzzsaw kind of things. I think.
Yeah.
Nice belts. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he's died.
I think these three, the versions of the belts for ECW are the better ones. Because obviously initially the TV title was the WF Winged Eagle, the tag was the IC, and the world was just some weird shit. But I think this,
Weird
they got their
shit.
own identity.
These belts
Yeah.
are quite good. I
The
think.
belts
don't
are better, I think.
The odd corners. Did you notice that they
Yeah,
were
they
in
go
the
in the
opposite
weird
corners?
corner,
Yeah,
yeah.
weird.
That annoyed me.
There's just and it doesn't have a big brawl. It's a sedated sort of start for an ECW match. Takedowns, arm work. There's a few tilt to worlds by Mikey Whipwreck.
Oh my god, a wrestling match right now.
Yeah. And Tajiri gets a pop on the tag. There's a beautiful double drop kick to the head of Tony Marmalou. 2004 Cruiserweight Nunzio Tajiri are now in as Guido loses a Peanuts battle and Tajiri gets a few near falls. I don't know what happened with the horrible world's greatest tag team leapfrog guillotines. Couldn't quite get up, could he? For whatever reason. Guido then kills Kayfabe by holding onto two chairs so they can do the drop kick spot on the outside. Mikey saves the double team, only for Mikey to sell his own shoulder when he delivers a double whippersnapper. Which is
Was
the
this
stunner.
real or not?
No,
Because
it was
fake.
fake. It was fake.
It was fake because obviously when
Well, where's the other bloke who comes in now?
yeah, that's
If
what
he don't
that's
get
what I was
injured?
thinking. I thought it looked real, but at the same time, it's like
It
I
was
don't
fake.
know if it was planned.
But this is the thing that
It was like go because
This
his
is-
match had been cancelled.
This is the thing that pisses me off, just in general with this, because it doesn't go anywhere. They just become a trio, I think, for a little bit. But there was so much you could do on the back of that.
Yeah.
It's like they laid the seeds and did nothing with it. Tajiri is double teamed as he spits the mist in Tony Marmaluke's face. It looks like he's going to have to go it alone, but he finds an unlikely assistance in his former foe, Super Crazy. I think they had some. Well, him and Guido,
that was the three-way match.
threat.
I mean, even WWE did it.
he decides to take Mikey's place in the rest of the match. Super Crazy flips both men out the corner, and the Smarks chant 10 in Spanish. I do love that. Super Crazy hits a trio of moonsaults from increasing height of turnbuckle, and there's a nice kick up X Factor. The odd couple pairing have completely dominated here. They used a chair in a double team work on Guido's head. Guido's now busted open as he locks in an armbar. Marmaduke used. I keep wanting to say Marmaduke, which is the
That's
dog.
a dog.
Yeah.
Dog.
Marmaduke now works the arm of Tajiri as the body part is worked over. I've put here the match has a really lovely pace to it as Tajiri lays in Guido with a kick. There's a double handspring elbow and Crazy gets the hot tag. Big drop kicks, baseball slide, sit out powerbomb. Lovely suckered in spinning heel kick, which is beautiful. Marmaluke is launched into about the 9th row of the crowd. Big Sal deals with Super Crazy, though. He's fucking sort him out, which leaves Tajiri alone. We do see Super Crazy far off in the camera do a moonsault off the balcony. And Tajiri sort of celebrates, but stupidly, this has left him alone. After the tarantula is broken up, it leads to sort of vintage-style bulldog, I suppose I want to say it was. and the FBI have retained their titles over Tajiri. Jack, thoughts on the match?
Well, I thought it started really well, and then when they do the injury spot, I got annoyed at that because I was really enjoying it, and I'd have just preferred them just to have a straight up tag match between the Unholy Alliance and the FBI.
Yeah.
Once Super Crazy comes out, okay, it still isn't bad after that. There's nothing wrong, and
Super Crazy's a good worker as well.
Yeah, the FBI winning because they are going to put the belts on Crazy and Tajiri. Although you could get a storyline out of it if you did. It's annoying that the storyline doesn't go anywhere, but in terms of the actual match, it was still good anyway. I still enjoyed it.
It's like a Rubik's Cube where it's just sort of like, why have you done that?
Yeah, you've got one bit left to get it right.
I still enjoyed it, but I was much preferring it when it was just the straight up Unholy Alliance for the FBI.
I get that. I think I would go. I thought it was a really, really solid tag match. I did really enjoy it.
That was the thing that got right.
Never got bored throughout it, and I think it was one of the longest matches. Super Crazy is brilliant, but I just don't get why Tajiri was celebrating when Super Crazy is supposed to have come out to support him and then fucked off and cost him the match. I know Tajiri's mad, but like I say, either you have him win and then you've got the sort of Mikey Whipwreck feeling a bit sort of left out.
Or he don't want to be tag champs, but he's got to be.
Yeah, or you have them lose and Tajiri being pissed off at Super Crazy, or there was so much you couldn't do. There was so much you could have done with this because you've chose to go down that route. And I agree with you, Jack. If you're not going to do that, just keep it as the tag match because you just create sort of that distortion in a match, and there's so much distortion throughout the whole card. You kind of just get to the point where you're just craving a little normal tag match. Just give me a tag match. Hold the tag rope. It's I didn't hate the match at all, and God, I will say this: all 5 of the men, maybe Whipwreck's gone past the point where he was in his peak, but they are really good workers. Nunzio's such a solid worker, and Super Crazy. I mean, when he was doing the kip up moonsaults and stuff, I just thought he's just crisp.
Has he been TV champ at this point? Crazy. So I think that's when Rhino beat him and took him out.
Rhino's champ now until the end.
He never drops it.
No. Nah, and then he wins the world though on the last show because he's both.
I just really enjoyed it. I thought he wrestles like a cartoon character. Super Crazy. He's just so crisp in what he does. I was really impressed with him. Sam?
I really like the match. Obviously, I like the FBI as always. I like Tajiri. Whipwreck, I don't mind. I think at this point, his gimmick did need a bit of a change, so I did like that. I think what had done, they'd already booked I didn't realise the injury angle was a kayfabe. I always thought it was real looking at it, so I thought it looked real. But now you're saying this, it seems like they got to this point, we know we want to do it, and Super Crazy come out. And there's all these different avenues that could have gone after that, and they picked the wrong one. All the rest was fine.
Yeah.
Tajiri beating him up after losing, they win, and you've got this thing you can splinter off with Whipwreck, or unlikely trios where they've all got to defend it. And it's just like they picked the absolute wrong one where they just lose and that's it.
I often wonder whether they just had no confidence in long-term booking because they just thought, well, one, we might not exist, and two, anyway, even if we do exist, every fucker's going to leave us because Tajiri must go to the WWE not long after this, I do. Is that? Does he see it all out?
Because he's with already.
Well, I'm sure that was right at the end. I'm sure he was there for Mania.
He was there at Mania. No, I think he was just after. Rhino was there at Mania. Because I think what happened is...
Well, Rhino definitely stayed till the end, didn't he?
Rhino stayed till the end. Spike did. Because I think as soon as it shut, that's when WF picked up a few.
It died in February, March, I think.
I think.
Was the last live
No,
event.
January was the last pay-per-view, but March was the last live event. Because he died pretty much like a week after WCW. And WF just went, well, we'll have it.
Well, I can understand now it's difficult to book, and it is difficult to book ECW when, it's on its last legs and stuff. But this, to me, I just agree with Jack. Either you don't, just give me a solid tag match where nothing changes, or do
that's
something
it.
with the storyline. It's as simple as that.
Oh, something, mate.
Jasmine Sinclair cuts a promo in the shower where she hikes up her naughty pictures, which are on the website, and the blue boy, who, what the fuck has happened to Meanie?
Well,
Jack
what
told me
happened-
about this.
I read about this. He was in the Fed still. He went back down to developmental and he lost a load of weight for the Fed. And then they released him.
Oh, what bastards.
And the problem there was because he's now lost a load of weight, no one's bothered about booking the blue media when he ate fat. So a lot of his bookings that he would have got have gone. So he tried to become this blue boy because he was going out with her anyway, this Jasmine Sinclair. So he tried to become this.
Oh, he was punching above his weight. Well, maybe not above his weight. He didn't have a lot of weight.
He dropped all the weight. He was trying to be this like playboy sort of bloke, but it never really worked.
I know he said.
To be in it.
I know he said in his book that it was the most miserable point in his life, and I'm pretty sure that's because he couldn't eat McDonald's.
Yeah. If somebody took away my KFC,
I've got to admit though, there's a weirdness.
It is a shame. So Blue Minnie seems like a really nice bloke.
Yeah,
and it's
he
a
does.
shame.
He really
that's
does.
just what
Have
it
you
is.
seen his? Have you watched any of the JBL podcasts with Briscoe? He's on that with them.
I know
Obviously,
he's on
they've
that
sort of sorted their shit
Sorted
out.
it out, yeah.
And he's so good on that podcast. He's so funny.
I think
and
he's got like his own.
genuinely
as
a
well.
nice man.
Yeah,
he's a nice
he seems
bloke.
like a really nice bloke, and then hearing that, it's like, why?
But I do admit there is slight intrigue of just seeing what he would have been like as a, svelte.
Svelte blue
Man.
boy kind
I
of.
could kind of get behind that gimmick, the blue boy gimmick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
admittedly, I would imagine most of the mooks in the crowd wanting to see a
They
jiggly
just want
belly.
blue media. Can you just be fat?
You have to be fat.
Right, here we go then. So we went main event time. It's two main events happening at the same time. It's double jeopardy for Jerry Lynn's ECW title. Now, Joey Styles immediately tries to explain what the hell is going on. Basically, there's two matches. Jerry Lynn can only pin Just Incredible and vice versa, and Steve
It's a
Corino
fatal
can
four-way,
only-
but you can only eliminate one at a time.
Yeah. So there is no jeopardy if the other two are doing anything. There is absolutely no reason at all that you would get involved in that other match.
Yeah.
Because why would it doesn't matter unless you have some vested interest on making sure you fight
Well,
someone.
If Jerry Lynn started fighting Corino or Credible started fighting Sandman, it would then mean that it is just a fatal four-way, but you can only pin one person.
I wonder
So
if
they wouldn't do that, surely.
Never.
So really, if this is two matches going on at the same time, and one person gets attacked by somebody in a different match, shouldn't that really mean a DQ
Yeah.
for the other person? So therefore, that person's out because it's DQ.
who knows? Sandman isn't here for the ring introductions, which again is not explained and makes no sense really. And it really cheapens it because you know what you get with the Sandman entrance, which is beautiful, especially because I listened to it with Enter Sandman. It is beautiful. But all it does is show you that your ECW title match is less important to the fans than seeing a bloke get pissed through the crowd.
Then seeing a smoking pit.
So stupid. You didn't have to do that. You could have got that out of the way, you idiots. So Steve Corino waits in the corner patiently whilst Lynn and Credible go at it. They have some near falls, and for some reason, Corino goes, well, I might as well have a wrestle. And he immediately kills kayfabe by hitting the bionic elbow. I think it was to Credible. I haven't wrote it down. It was. I'm not sure why Corino is getting involved, but yeah, fuck the rules. The heels, one of whom I assume is now a face, double team Lynn and hit a bulldog. And then double bulldogged by Jerry Lynn. Cyrus shits on Corino's strategy here, and I completely agree with him. He's basically saying, why the fuck is he fighting him? Sandman eventually well, first of all, the camera reacts to something off camera. We don't know what it is. And then his music hits. So your world title match loses all focus because for the next 4 minutes, we're just watching Sandman desperately try and get to the crowd whilst pouring beer over everyone. We get a few shots of what's happening in the ring, but nobody cares. Sandman eventually gets there. The first soft cane shot of Jerry Lynn is amazing. Where he's there.
Yeah.
But why he immediately attacks Jerry
Lynn?
I don't know.
Jerry Lynn.
Carino slaps the beer out the hand of the Sandman, and Sandman canes him and then Jack Victory for their troubles. Lynn now fights Sandman. Just Incredible's covered in blood. We don't know why, when that happened. So is Lynn. I put this is terrible so far.
Yep.
Tornado DDT. Finally, we have 2 matches going on, and they're the correct matches. Incredible hits a Bossman Slam for a 2 on Jerry Lynn. A ladder is brought in for no reason.
Oh, that was Sandman's gimmick, or is it time? The rickety Sandman ladder.
And we get a few Irish whips into it. Suplex onto it by Sandman. Joey Styles continues to remind us of the rules. And now they've switched opponents. Fuck's sake. Bulldog onto the ladder by Sandman, and now a length of railing is thrown in, and this just basically means first of all, Carino is busted open, and Joey Styles basically goes, well, that's not a surprise, is it? Steve Carino. Steve Carino focuses on setting up the railing as a table and ends up being suplexed onto it, only for a 2. Jerry Lynn goes for the tombstone, and after a few reversals, he hits it, and Francine is there to stop the pin. She rubs her tits in the face of the ref. Carino then stops a cat fight breaking out.
Oh, thank
So
God.
No cat fight. I got annoyed at that because I thought Sam would love it.
No, as soon as I saw it, I was like, no.
Joey would
no.
love it.
Oh, thank God.
Sandman canes him. Lynn attacks Sandman. I mean, what the fuck? Double super kick on the champ, and both men hit finishers on both the Sandman and Lynn. And both heels advance to our final match. Jesus fuck. What is Heyman doing with this booking is what I wrote next.
I still don't think it's Heyman.
Immediately.
But this next bit really made me smile.
Well, I don't know where I'm going with it then, but is it when they hang around?
It's the fact that Sandman just randomly starts getting the crowd going by smacking on the
Yeah, the fact that
Oh,
both
Jerry Lynn, he's on the camera over there, joining in.
Jerry
I've
Lynn
lost
has
the
just
belt.
lost the belt, yeah, now
It's
standing
like,
round.
Oh, it's so bad, but it made me smile.
It's awful.
I just thought Sandman's obvious, he's pissed. He's always pissed. I just thought Sandman just doing what he wants because you can't control him.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was actually planned until Jerry Lynn joined him.
Unbelievable. So yeah,
Fucking great.
basically, yeah, they hang around. I'm not sure why. I think maybe the idea behind having the 2 heels, because bear in mind the crowd basically chant bullshit.
Yeah, they do.
I think the idea behind it is probably because they're thinking Steve Carino might not be quite a strong enough babyface yet. So if we make him the de facto babyface, they will have to cheer for him. But they don't. They don't cheer for anyone because at this point, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
The faces keep the heels in the match, so they do get involved in throwing them back in. I guess that kind of helps to explain why they're there, but doesn't quite explain why they're playing cheerleaders. Jack and Steve set up the tables, and because this chop fest goes on way too long. I mean, it's about 3 minutes. They just keep chopping each other.
Keep chopping forever.
Gut wrench suplex to the table by Carino. He gets a 2. Justin pulls Francine in the way of a super kick. Carino hits an old school neck breaker, which is his finisher, but he kicks out, obviously. Just Incredible does a nice super kick for a 2. A second one is hit, but Dawn Marie turns on Steve Carino and then Jack Victory. Do you understand why?
Well, because of the finish, it just means that it's completely pointless, and you feel like you are so insignificant now because you've turned and cost nothing.
Yeah. Because, well, I mean, it isn't even like he rallies back against a schoolboy or something, because as soon as she fucks off, he gets a cane to the head 3 times, a super kick, and then he's won. Immediately won.
See ya.
And despite the turn, Steve Carino is our new champion. That is, and I've put this, that is the single worst booked match we have ever seen. It's not the worst match. It's not the worst match. Not the worst match, but it is the single worst booked match we have ever seen. I've never seen a match booked that bad. The only thing that could possibly compete with it is Hogan and Sting. The finish of that. That's the only thing was bad.
The Nexus.
Maybe that.
Yeah,
well, this is it's awful, terribly booked.
Yeah. This is up there. It's terrible.
I've been wanting to do this for ages because I know how bad it was.
The concept. Okay, you want to change things and you've got to try it at least once. It's right, but at the same time, I know there's a few listening to these like What Culture and all that, like the top 10 gimmick matches that happened once that probably could make a comeback. This was on it. This was one.
I don't think it's a bad concept.
It's a bad concept, but it needs to be booked right by somebody who knows what they're doing.
What you've got to do is you've got to have a vested interest between one of them in the advancement of one of the other matches. Yeah. So the only reason Carino should want to get involved is if, say, Just Incredible has agreed to lay down for him, or he's teased the other one's more.
Or one of them's injured.
Or then you
get through.
What you could do is you could have a situation where you have one of them finish really quickly, and then the other one creates chaos to the point where he's just allowing them to destroy each other. So there's an easy pickings, and then you book from there. This was the worst booked version of this match.
It's a fatal four-way, which just you couldn't pick. It's basically similar to the triple threat of Breakdown that you had Austin v Kane and Taker, and the thing was Taker and Kane couldn't pin each other. They had to pin Austin. Well, and you get it in a way because it was Vince trying to say you've got to beat Austin. They both pinned him in the end.
Yeah.
So he got the belt off him. But it still.
Well, me and Jack watched, as I say, me and Jack watched a few of the just bits from shows after this.
Thank God.
And there is a spot where Cyrus sort of plays the devil on Jerry Lynn's shoulder, which eventually leads him to turn heel, I think.
Yeah, he does.
Where he's basically saying, well, I've screwed you here. And I just don't quite understand, because Jerry Lynn becomes a cheerleader after he's lost his title. Why that seed wasn't planted now, earlier? Why didn't he get really pissed off?
Because all he does, when he hands him the belt, he slaps him, and I just thought, what was that?
Yeah.
What was the point?
Stupid. It's so
I get it, hand him the belt to make him a face, but then you slap him, it's like, are you a heel?
I hate it.
Are you a prick?
I hated it. I hated every bit of it. And it was too long.
It was too...
Yeah, 4 hours, wasn't it?
The minute Carino started joining in the other match annoyed me. Because he is a heel, so why would he bother as a character? The Sandman entrance is great. I know it takes away from it, but the Sandman's great. Anything Sandman did was great, because he's just mad, and he is,
he's a drunk.
The crowd, to be fair, it's a good job he was there, Sandman, because the crowd could have just gone, fuck this shit, I'm booing everything. But Sandman got there and he made sure they was involved. I'm going to smack the...
Once he
smack the apron, I was so happy. But then so sad at the same time. And the Dawn Marie turn is the most pointless turn I've ever seen.
Does she go with Just Incredible? I assume that's where they're going.
No, Francine's with them.
No, I know, but I assume what they're trying to do here is they're going to put Dawn Marie with Just Incredible, because he's pulled Francine in front of her. So they're almost doing the sort of double switch.
Well, he was with him when there was in the Impact.
With Lance Stormer.
But then the turn's awful, and then Carino wins the belt. Okay, fine, I like Carino winning the belt, but the whole booking of the match is diabolical.
Yeah, it is awful.
The actual gimmick of the match is shat on straight away, and then the turns in the match are meaningless. And then Jerry Lynn handed him the belt at the end, so he hung around for 10 minutes just so I could give you the belt. Makes him look like a
slap you.
So it just feels
like... You meant nothing?
The only one I felt... The one that I felt come out looking the best was Sandman. That's how I feel about it.
Did anyone come out, do you think, being really honest, because, maybe I'm looking at it very critically, but I'm not quite sure that anyone in this whole show came out stronger than they went in. really.
Stronger.
Of the whole pay-per-view.
The whole pay-per-view.
Any stronger?
Because I don't even think
You'd probably say
Carino's
Kid
was
Cash.
Probably.
possibly Kid Cash.
Or
You know,
Nova.
He did beat a credible
Just
heel.
because he didn't get fired after losing
I
his
think
match.
Nova struggled with someone who is obviously a bit
Yeah.
shit.
Of course he did.
And
But
the crowd
at the
all
same-
buying Nova.
No, I get you. Maybe you could say Nova.
Cold cock. Chili Willy.
Yeah,
He
probably.
did.
There you go. This was the cold cock pay-per-view then, weren't it? Because,
Thank God we ain't doing the unboxing on this.
I hated it. So there you have it then. Conclusions on the show as a whole then. I'll throw to you first, Jack.
Yeah, didn't enjoy it really. There's moments of enjoyment, but for the 2.5 hours, I'd say probably about 2 hours of it, you just feel a bit like, what the fuck's going on? The booking's crap, and you end it thinking, like we just said, there ain't really a lot of people coming out of this good, and one bloke wins the belt, and I still don't feel he comes out any higher or elevated than he already was.
Yeah, I'd agree. Sam?
Yeah, it's at this point in ECW, it's terrible. Them booking like they know them on the verge of
Really are.
being done. So they don't want to do any long-term booking. But it is a shame because you've got a lot of things there that you could do a lot of long-term booking, which could have saved. Like WCW did try in like 01, like end of 2000, 2001 with the Magnificent Seven and the, you know, it did get okay after Russo fucked off. You know what I mean? They tried, even though they knew they was dying, they tried. And it's just like, you know what, it happens. Because you never know. What if WWE just thought, well, fuck ECW, we ain't buying anything?
No, I agree. I think that's the issue. Is that
that book like they knew they was dying when really they should have just carried on it as if them good, because you never know.
I think
You
they
never
always
know.
booked fly by the seat of the pants. I never think they booked long term.
I actually think.
I think it was always
I know
just
Heyman
week
had
to
gone.
week.
I'm pretty sure Heyman had gone at this point. I know he turned up, but
he definitely
I know he was pretty
He
much
was there.
He was
yeah, he
pretty
was there
much
'cause
like
he was on the
backstage,
Carino.
and-
You could hear him. He says,
Yeah.
"Thanks, Steve," when he was doing the
He's there and
Carino.
everything.
Oh, I know.
But I do.
But
I think mentally he was.
Yeah, and so that's why Dreamer was pretty much doing everything else. Because I know Bubba used to do something, he'd gone, Taz has gone. You know, so everybody else has gone, he's pretty much gone. Dreamer was in his jumper. So, again, I think that was trying to get too far to the hardcore, but that time had gone. You needed to try and evolve with it. So you had elements to do it.
I'll put it. I mean, there was nothing about this pay-per-view was really good. The opening matches were fun and set the tone, but because of the order of the pay-per-view, there was no natural flow. The booking was really bad in places, and I agree with you. I think mentally, if not physically, Heyman wasn't there. It really did lack any real star power. You had Tommy Dreamer who wasn't booked, RVD who wasn't there, Rhino who was made to look less than,
Sandman was
and
there.
Sandman who also again was just innocuous within the match. Because,
At least have him go through, and then
and
you
lose
could-
to Carino, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
something like that.
Either way, I don't
Gotta
think
be
it hurts
cheerleader.
him. I don't think it hurts him to lose, but I think you could have used Sandman better.
Well, he's
But
the
then you've
biggest
got-
star you've got booked, really.
Yeah, but then you've got on this show, you've got obvious talent: Guido, Nova, Rhino, and the most novelty wrestler in the whole of the world was writing for ECW at this time, and that's New Jack. He was completely different to anyone else in wrestling, and yet the way that they booked the whole of those just felt pointless.
He was in the wrong match.
Yeah,
it was the wrong match.
So, match of the night then, Jack.
I'm probably going to give it the tag title match.
So,
tag title match.
I'm going to give it to C.W. Anderson and Kid Cash, but I didn't like the finish of that.
I don't like the start on it.
Worst match?
It's got to be the main event.
Yeah, it's me.
All three of them.
Main event, maybe the TV talk because it's just the wrong person.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just the wrong one. But I think the main event, good concept, poor execution.
To me, if the main event is bad, it tends to always win the worst match
Yeah.
because I mean it's the main event. It should
Yeah,
be good.
exactly.
MVP.
Spike.
I'm putting Jack Victory because honestly,
You love him.
I think he's brilliant.
Chilly Willy.
Jesus Christ.
Chilly Willy, because he managed to get a featured match.
That's a hell of a three, though, when it's Spike, Jack Victory, and Chilly Willy.
That's a Survivor Series team, that is.
And
They'll be back.
yes, and LVP. Rhino. Really?
Well, he got.
Oh, sorry, LVP. Yeah, Rhino, yeah.
Yeah.
That was, in my head, for some reason, I got it wrong then.
A lot worse.
No, I can't argue with Rhino. I'll put Heyman because
you
he's booking. I'm assuming at the very least, he had the ability to get control of this booking. So
Well, I think he'd get up. I'm going to get Jerry Lynn. Because you're the champ going in, and why are you cheerleading the match? Yeah. Someone take this belt off me.
You're a tit, Jerry Lynn.
Fuck off.
You're a tit. Right then, we all take the task of rebooking November to Remember and do it much better. Okay then, well I'm going to open with you then, Sam, if you've said that it's not very long.
Nah.
You only booked 3 matches?
I've booked 8.
No, 8 matches?
I've booked 8 because the date on this show, I think.
Yeah.
There is 8.
Yeah, it's 8 matches.
Because I think that's the perfect amount
Have
for
you
a
just
pay-per-view.
booked that card again?
No. No. Maybe. Right. First match, Super Crazy v Simon Diamond.
Okay.
I think it's just obviously Super Crazy coming back. You've got Simon Diamond who can talk.
Yep.
And I think he's probably better on his own, and he's somebody you can build up.
Yep.
I'll probably give Super Crazy the win because he's just come back from injury,
Yep.
And he can go against the network or whatever you want to rename him. Right, the next match is just a tag match because fuck it, why not? It's Balls in Chilly Willy v Dorin and Roadkill. Because I think Dorin's a heel. Roadkill's there. You could probably play off that if Roadkill's the big, one people like and Dorin's Dorin.
Dorin's boring.
Dorin boring. Well, that's why he called himself Dorin, because that would sound boring. And he would say, them chanting for me. That's how we got around it. So it's clever, but it's stupid at the same time.
That would be boring.
Yeah, that would be boring. And
I wouldn't chat it.
come up with a fucking gimmick other than sex. And then going against Balls and Chili. So there you go. I'd put Balls and Chili over. Next match, which they did later on, Tommy Dreamer v CW Anderson.
Yeah.
Why wore that match on?
No,
Have it like a wrestling match, because Dreamer's the one who could try and do that, at least, and he's the heart of ECW, I'd have CW win because, shenanigans or something. What?
No, Jack said...
Are you shitting?
I say no, Jack said all of us will have CW Anderson beat Tommy Dreamer and neither of us have.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh. CW would win. The next match is a handicap match.
Oh.
It's New Jack v the Baldies. Just have that as the hardcore. Yeah, something. Have him beat up to Vito. He can take things.
It was always him versus them all anyway.
Pretty much, and just have
it works.
It works. Yeah. It's the trash match.
Jack, eh?
You're pretty much jid. So, and just having New Jack should be the only hardcore match that you have really at this point.
Yep.
Realise this is your strength. He's your special attraction gimmick match. That's what it is. New Jack would win because I don't think he's ever going to lose unless he's fighting a champ when he don't really care about the belt. Next match, the loser leave Chetty Nova. I would book it, but have it at least not booked on the show. Maybe have a 3 or 4 week build where they lost in the first because it were at the tag title tournament. That's when they lost and he turned on.
I think so.
Well, maybe have him lose in the first round, or have him just go, I don't want the tag belt, I want another belt on my own. Then build up on the hardcore TV to say, look, and then I'm just fighting throughout the show and saying, look, we can't have you both here. One of you needs to go.
Yeah.
Do something, for God's sake.
Yeah, we can't control Nova and Jesse. We're more having balls and turn out being good enough for them.
You've got to work with what you've got. And what they've got isn't a lot. Tag title match, I would keep it, but I would probably, I would definitely get rid of the injury angle to Whipwreck because I've used Super Crazy in the first match.
Yeah.
Because they work together, Tajiri, Nova. Marmaluke I quite like. Yeah, particularly the sell on the ribs on the guardrail when he did that. That actually looked like he did kill him.
He was completely in the right company.
He was the right company. So I would probably have the FBI win as well. Just give them a bit of a run.
Yeah,
because you've got the big fat van there to help.
I think ultimately you've got to protect the FBI because it is the most established heel team you've got.
I mean, it's been going for years, and Guido's the one that's been there throughout. And it's just changing members, ain't it, really? So keep the FBI. TV title, Rhino v Spike. You can't go wrong with Spike getting his arse kicked throughout by Rhino, the hitman for and he's the TV champ for the network.
Yeah.
Again, you could probably do network because they ain't got one. Then have Rhino win. The world title match, just making a full-way ladder match or something like that. Don't do this double Jeopardy nonsense. I know you want to be different, but at the same time, don't, because it doesn't make sense.
Well, it can be different as long as it makes sense.
Yeah, as long as it makes sense, but it ain't going to make sense. So why not just do a ladder match? At least then you can fight all of them and just have one of them grab the belt and fight. You can have Sandman's rickety ladder, because I think that they do a TLCC match. Tables, ladders, chairs and canes.
Yes,
at one point.
Did at one point.
But I think just do a ladder match, something like... Do a gimmick match, but a ladder would be fine with it. And you could have Carino then climbing the ladder because he's been struggling. Get the belt, bit of a face pop. Something like that. That's how I would try and add logic to an illogical situation.
Well, I've got 8 matches as well. My opener's Kid Cash versus C.W. Anderson. I'd have it booked, and I would have C.W. Anderson go over. My key thing for me is don't necessarily just throw C.W. Anderson into other people's feuds. For me, is just build him up as a mechanic, and I'm going to... Almost a bit like a silent killer kind of gimmick, I'm going to go through the roster.
The Enforcer, that's what they called him.
Match 2 would be Tommy Dreamer versus Simon Diamond. Tommy Dreamer returns to get his revenge on Simon Diamond, who apparently has taken him out. Tommy Dreamer wins. Match 3 would be Balls Mahoney finding a partner to take on the Baldies in New Jack, because I think it's more sensible that you have all the craziness going on together.
I think that was tag champs.
And I would have New Jack and Balls go over. Rhino versus the Sandman, and I would have the Rhino destroy the Sandman. Purely on the basis that Sandman's over, but the moment he's in the ring, he can bump and do what he needs to. And he has just returned as a credible top star at a world level, so this is Rhino decimating a former world champion. He's obviously on a different level. Match 5, FBI versus Tajiri and Whipwreck. But I will do the replacement spot because I think there's more value in creating a story that comes out of it. So Super Crazy is super crazy in the match and costs
Tajiri. You've got to the Fed thing,
it costs Tajiri his title in the end. Tajiri misses him and leaves him lying. I think I'd go that way rather than have them win because I think there's value. And I think Roadkill and Doran are probably there ready to feud with the FBI, so you can move Tajiri into it.
Story in Roadkill? I think that was one.
I think so. Nova versus Chetty would be an absolute massacre for Nova. I said it on the podcast, but for me, Nova comes in and beats the living piss out of Chetty, who leaves in a mess. Match 7 would be the 6-man tag because it's probably the only booked match on the card that I didn't particularly have any massive issue with. So I'm going to just have it exactly the same way. Spike gets him hot, ready for the main event because he's returned, and again Chris Hamrick, what a boy. And my main event, because Sandman is out of it again. This is where I would have played up Cyrus telling Jerry Lynn, the head of this match, you've been booked into a corner, 4 corners. Match. You've been booked into a corner because they don't want you as the champion. When I was the network guy, the reason you're holding the belt is because I was pushing behind the scenes for you to be the champion. But now the network's no longer there and I've got no influence. They don't want you to be the champion. That's why the men have put you in a match having to defend against
the men. Is that
the men? That's going to be the alliance. Jerry Lynn versus Steve Corino versus Just Incredible versus Rob Van Dam. Because
you would actually pay him and get him paid.
Yeah, I would pay him. Novel idea.
To be honest,
I would pay him because
you've got to pay.
If I've got Rob Van Dam on my contract, and I've just got to, I would sack half of this roster to have RVD there because he's the only one with any star power.
Exactly.
So,
Get him
again,
before anybody else does.
four-way dance because it's what they do best for elimination style.
Yes.
I would have Credible eliminated first because he's not credible. I would have Lynn then eliminated by RVD, which then plants the seed because Lynn would cost RVD, turning him heel. He would be able to control himself on the outside. Steve Corino has won. He's not had to win with heelish methods because it wasn't his fault. It was Jerry Lynn who was unstable. So if you want to then spin off to Corino and Credible with the heel face dynamic, you can. But the main feud coming out of this, which is I think what should have been the main feud, seeing them
I
off,
think it was later on.
is Jerry Lynn versus RVD. Jack.
Match 1, Danny Dorning and Roadkill versus Simon Diamond and Johnny Swinger.
Yep.
Tag team match. Diamond and Swinger come out, interrupt Joey Styles, blah, blah, blah. Dorning and Roadkill win. Match number 2, Easy Money on his own. Well, he's with De Niro and Electra, but he's on his own.
Not Hamrick.
No, because he's later. Versus Kid Cash. Fly spotty.
Fly match.
Kid Cash can win, and it's not over CW. I don't mind Kid Cash winning, but he shouldn't beat a credible name in CW yet.
Yep.
Match number 3, we shall have the Flaming Tables tag team match, which is the Baldies versus Balls and New Jack. Obviously, get all your shit in there.
Yep.
New Jack and Balls win. Match number 4, Chris Hamrick. He's not with Hot Commodity. He's a strong enough character on his own. He is a big old southern racist. So who's he going to fight? He's going to fight the returning Mexican man, which is super crazy.
I thought you were going to say Chili Willy.
No, very cold cock. Super crazy is a surprise.
Well, even racists like cock.
Even racists like cock. I prefer it warm, but... But anyway.
I know what to say.
Super crazy. He's returning. He's back. He's Mexican. He beats Chris Hamrick. Match number 5.
Well, he does have a shirt that says Mexico on it.
Brilliant tagline.
Match number 5.
He's back. He's Mexican.
Is CW Anderson versus Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
And CW is going to win. I'm probably going to play an angle of is Tommy Dreamer good enough to do it anymore?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Fat
Number 6 is the FBI versus Tajiri and Mikey Whipwreck for the tag titles. No interference or change. FBI win. Because if Sinister Minister isn't there, can't really have Tajiri and Whipwreck win when they're depleted in their ability. Match number 7 is Rhino versus Spike for the TV title.
Yep.
Like Sam, makes sense.
Yep.
Spike can
Set
bump
the
around. Yep. And they'll love him. And you can throw him in the crowd and they can do the crowd set. Main event is the double Jeopardy match. I thought if we're doing it, probably got to keep it. It is Credible versus Corino and Sandman versus Corino and Credible versus Lynn. No touching of other match. Fight your own match.
No.
Touch
No
other people.
touching.
You
Have you got to put like a big board across the ring?
So you would actually have that as a rule as well.
I would have a rule of if you get involved in the other match, you're disqualified. I would have Sandman have been beaten up in his locker room earlier by Corino and Victory. I would then have Credible and Lynn start. I would have them do a double clothesline spot. Corino comes to the middle of the ring and all happy like me. I'm fucking the shit.
Yeah.
And then the lights go out and the music. Here comes Sandman.
Holy
so
shit,
there's your
here comes
entrance.
Sandman.
You can focus on that without anything going on. And Corino's like, oh fuck! And then here comes Sandman. Corino and Credible are going to win
He's still going to
their
do that.
single matches at the same time.
Yeah, the same
I
way
like
as
that
that.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably have Jerry Lynn beat up Sandman after turning heel.
Okay.
And the main reason that I want Corino and Credible to win is because I am doing the Dawn Marie turn on Corino.
Oh,
I'm putting the belt on Justin Credible.
no one wants.
I am then having the turn of Francine.
Yeah.
They are turning on Francine. Ide needs to win the belt to get back with Francine. He was shagging Dawn Marie all along. He don't need Francine. So Francine is probably then going to go with Corino.
Yes.
And Dawn Marie is with
You're
Justin
doing the
Credible.
switch.
Well, Francine's more of a face.
That's what I thought they would do.
And Corino is I don't think he's a face, but if you're going to make him a face, give him a proper knacker in Credible to fight.
He's a knacker.
And I know you two don't like Credible, but I don't mind Credible. In this roster, Rhino isn't quite there, so the next heel.
He was one of the first people to debut on WWE after they finished, because he was in WWE in February. I think.
Yeah,
Were you dealing with the X Factor?
Yeah, he was like the sixth click. Remember, or like the fifth beat? It's like the sixth click.
He's the original six.
Well, there you have it, folks. If you feel that you could have rebooked in November to remember 2000 better, let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com. Our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCpod, or our Twitter, which is @BCCpod. We round out the episode, as we always do, with a fantasy card. And let's try and salvage the double Jeopardy gimmick by going through wrestling's past and putting two main event matches going head to head. They're happening at the same time in double Jeopardy. Did we all get 6?
Yeah. It was a struggle, but yes.
Well, I'll open with you, Jack, I think.
Sean versus Brett, Cena versus Elton, both the Iron Man matches going on at the same time.
An hour.
And then the two winners then have to have an Iron Man match, so it's 120 minutes.
And who's going over out of the 4?
Well, probably going to do sudden death.
Jesus.
They put Sean over. Well, Sean and Cena won there, so Sean can do over.
My first match then is Brett and Owen versus going on at the same time as Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio. Two openers and two brilliant opening matches, and I'm going to put over Kurt Angle.
I went slightly different and went for 2 matches on the same show.
Oh, okay.
At the same time.
Okay, fair enough.
This first one, this match is just because I couldn't think of a 6th match, so it's just basically what we've reviewed. It's Carino, Credible, Sandman Link.
Got it on. Put it in.
Put it in.
Get it on.
Keep Carino. There you go. That's that out of the way.
Jack?
Match 2. Bam Bam versus LT. Going on at the same time as Roman versus Logan Paul.
Oh, yes.
Two celebrities.
That might still happen yet.
Yeah, it might happen.
It might not, because Bam Bam's dead.
It's supposed to happen. And Roman is going to win.
And I think LT's in jail. So, other than that,
is it?
I think he went to jail.
He became a wrong one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sorry,
Who are you putting over, Roman?
Well, I'm putting over
He was
LT.
in Married with Children.
LTV Logan Paul.
My match 2 is tag match. It's Demolition versus Strikeforce going on at the same time as the Usos versus the Wyatt family, Harper and Rowan.
I mean, in that corner.
Yeah, 4 corners. But they can't tag each other. It'd be chaos. And I'm going to put over Demolition.
Right, the first one. It's from Starcade 85.
Here we go.
Magnum versus Tully.
Yes.
At the same time as Flair v Dusty.
Ooh.
And probably because he's going to be booking it, Dusty has to go over.
Did he get a big boot at the end of it?
He's already got 2. Oh, I got it. The chaos happened yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Match 3. Undertaker versus Goldberg at the same time as Sting versus Jeff Hardy.
Oh, dear.
Clusterfuck.
So, drugged up Jeff and Taker and Goldberg fumbling around like old men.
So Sting's got to win.
Sting's
Good.
gonna
I
win.
agree.
Sting's the oldest one, probably.
Mine's an IC Spectacular as Shawn Michaels versus Razor going on at the same time as The Miz versus Seth Rollins.
So he's won half the ladder match.
They'll just leave it.
You call climb.
And I'm going to put over Razor Ramon because I like Razor a lot.
My next one is a WrestleMania 11 special.
Yes.
LTV Bam Bam.
Oh.
At the same time as Sean v Diesel.
I didn't expect to see 2 LTs.
Both got LT.
Yeah, when you said LT, I thought, you've took me gimmick.
Both got LT. Bam Bam.
Well, I tried to not use the same person twice.
Okay.
On up through it.
I did as well. Yeah.
So, to be honest, out of all of them, at that time, Sean's got to go over, to be honest.
Match 4, Barbed Wire Massacre. Kenny Omega versus John Moxley at the same time as Cactus Jack versus Terry Funk.
Yes.
They both had farts as their explosions.
I thought it was Funk and
It might be,
Anita.
No, I think it was Cactus. He ran out of the ring and then it farted the
Yeah, it was awful.
Was it
Yeah,
Cactus?
yeah.
I thought it was Anita.
Because Anita's the one who covered him, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put over Funk, because he's funky.
My match 4 is Sting and Vampiro going on at the same time as Kane and Undertaker. There's a lot of fire
fire.
involved.
And the stunt double wins.
Because Sting's definitely got to be on fire, so I'm going to put Undertaker.
Why do you hate Sting so much? Right, my next one, and I've just realised all of these next few matches are similar. It's a WrestleMania 13 special.
Okay.
It is Sid Poopy Pants versus Taker.
Oof.
And Brett versus Austin.
Yeah. No one needs all that shit.
No. Shit and blood. That's what it can be called.
Get that on the tagline.
Shit and blood.
SummerSlam was heart and soul.
WrestleMania was shit and blood, and if it's together, see a doctor. I think I'd put Brett over because it's Brett.
This one more serious. Austin versus Rock from 17 and Hogan versus Andre from 3.
Yes.
They all got to slam Andre or Brett. Go on, bloody hell.
For over Hogan. Why not?
My match 5 is Work Rate, AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels versus Samoa Joe, going on at the same time as No Work Rate, Farouk, Crush and Savio.
Oh my god, fight man! Oh, we have
6 match. Farouk, Crush, Savio, AJ Daniels and Samoa Joe.
Oh, I thought you Daniels. I thought it was AJ Joe from Crown Jewels.
The two triple threats, and I'm going to put over. I'm going to
put over Crush.
Yeah. Why not?
Right. Guess what my next one is?
I bet it don't feature Crush.
No, it doesn't. It's a WrestleMania 19 special.
Okay.
And it's because I actually watched this.
I thought you would probably have 2 battle royals going on at the same time.
I learned my lesson from the last Taboo Tuesday show. But it's Brock v Angle with Triple H versus Booker.
Yes.
And it's probably got to be Brock that goes over.
Yep, I agree.
Main event. Royal Rumble 1992 going on the same time as Royal Rumble 2019. Why not?
Great.
2 Royal Rumbles, 1 ring, 1 winner.
Is the 19 one the...
I think it's Seth. I just chose a
Seth,
year where I thought there's not
Seth
going to
won
be
it.
each people.
It's when he got pulled out and foot through the table and stayed.
I'm putting Flair over.
So basically, if Duggan threw out Andrade's still in because it's not.
It's not in the 92 Rumble.
And do they all come out together? Like Flair comes out with...
Number 3 comes out at the same time.
I think it was Flair and Nakamura.
This is amazing.
Flair walking out with Nakamura doing his dance.
And just because I think it's just the juxtaposition of this, my main event is Hogan v Andre going on at the same time as Kenny Omega versus Okada.
Yes.
Because Dave Meltzer wouldn't know whether to give it negative stars or positive stars.
Yes,
Put Andre.
And I'm going to put Andre over because who the fuck is
Andre Kamala. That's what you want to
in the cage with Andre sat there going, come on then.
swinging at Omega and Okada.
Right, my main event. It's a WrestleMania 7 special.
Okay, so Hogan Slaughter.
Yes.
Don't tell me
Warrior
you've gone...
Savage.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you might have
Warrior
gone Jake
Savage.
and Martel.
Tornado Bravo.
I thought you'd had Jake and Martel, so you'd have a match with 2 blind...
I finally wish I should have done that. I was trying to go for like matches that you could put together, and I'm going to put Savage over because really, out of all 4, he's the one that should have gone over.
You nearly had like Mount Rushmore there. You got Hogan Warrior matchup and random charge.
What are you doing?
Thanks for following up, Slaughter, by the way.
But there you have it, folks. If you feel that you could have rescued the Double Jeopardy gimmick any differently with matches from the past, let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCC pod, or at Twitter, which is at BCC pod. And that begins our November to remember. But we will be back in the month of November with a look back at Survivor Series from 2015. Even looking forward to
Talking about it.
Yep.
No.
Nope. Yep. Yeah, no, not great. And we will also be back with a Wrestle Cup for the worst wrestling stables. Obviously, it's that time of year that people get together, so we will
time of year where stables and bits.
we will be deciding.
Jesus was born in one.
Yeah, there you go. We will be deciding on
Which one, the Heathen family or the first family?
It was the first one.
But join us then, folks. That leaves me to say from Jack Chance.
Right, everybody. Bye.
And from Sam Chance.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
Get real with the fever on the dance floor. Now who got the fever for the flame? Who can think the way that I flex on a track? Conclusion rampage. Ricky Rick on point with the knife I stop for my lip. That be rolling the mad joints. Just put your hands in the air. Cause there's a party over here. So grab yourself a beer. And we can get our fever on. I'm with it. So let me put my big brown fever on. I'm coming with the disco. I can flip so. I'ma drop a solo tip. Something for the honeys in the crowd. Let me hear it. So I can turn the party out. Till tomorrow afternoon. Cause when I grips my steel, no one leaves the room. So tell me, can you feel the mask skills coming with the fever, fever, fever? Get real with the fever on the dance floor. Everybody's in the house. We have to run this back so you can break your flares out. Interest I'm the only one. We got it going on. So let me get my flowing on. Hit the blast on the past, then you heard of me and the boys coming down with murder. And it's gotta be the way. Everybody wants to make a move, so just party. Or we can have a jam. So get your move on, I'ma take this groove and slam. Flip it how I want it, flip. From the back to the front when I drops me the manuscript. Cause I got the moves. And I'm always on the flow with the crazy, crazy grooves. Tell me, can it feel the math skills coming with the fever, fever, fever? Get real with the fever on the dance floor. Everybody in the house, come on and let me hear you say ho. Everybody in the house, come on and let me hear you say ho, ho. Everybody in the house, come on and let me hear you say ho. Everybody in the house, come on and let me hear you say ho, ho, ho. It's about time. Everybody in the house supposed to move to my vicious rule rhymes. Ricky Rick on a tip with my boys bringing disco noise. As I drop the wickedness, getting sharp with the flow. We took a BG swoop and broke it down like